Shoresy's final game, setting the tone one last time. Try to win it all. Future is unknown, uncertain what will come next. One more to play, though. In the end, he'll go until he can't go no more. Leave it on the ice. So get on the go. Last time, Shoresy, you ready? Good, 'cause you're going.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
You heard the man. It's the Produce Stand, your favorite source for everything in the universe. I'm Al, your host, Tanya, Matt, and Victor on the mics, and tonight we're talking some Shoresy Season 3. And just like Dolo, we're feeling blessed tonight to introduce tonight's guest panelist. Joining us this week, he teaches political science and security studies at Westminster College. He's a martial artist with teaching certificates in multiple disciplines. He thinks Letterkenny may be the perfect show, and he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Please join me in making some noise for Tobias.
Who wants to set the tone, boys? Who's gonna fucking set it? Yeah! Whoa! Let's get on the go, boys! This team will never lose again.
Welcome back to the Produce Stand, Tobias, and welcome back to my guest panelists. It's been 3 weeks. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing great. It's good to see
Awesome.
Amazing. So, yeah, let's, talk up front about the elephant in the room. It's been 3 weeks. Tanya and I dared to take a couple of weeks off. And then Matt says, oh yeah, by the way, my vacation like the week after you guys come back. So
I selfishly didn't want you guys to do this episode without me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it without you either.
Oh,
right?
That's sweet. Bud.
Well, this is a big one. Like if it were any other episode.
I know, it's just cute how you said it like that. It's all right.
Anyway. So yes, I mean, I feel like this section of our podcast tonight is going to go really long, so let's get this rig rolling. Tonight's lineup is going to be Victor, Matt, myself. Victor, Tanya, myself, and Matt, and our guest Tobias will go have the last word. Victor, what have you been up to?
Holy cow. Well, I've been listening to like 6 hours of content about the most useless character in Letterkenny.
Oh my God. I mean, you're starting with fire. You chose violence tonight, did you?
You did mention that you had some qualms. So
Holy.
Was that a short stick that you pulled there, Vic?
Damn. Playing the role of villain tonight. Okay, Victor.
Yeah. So I'll share some thoughts. But before that, Linda and I decided to start watching a show that I think most people are disappointed with the ending, but we know nothing about it. We know nothing about the controversy. We know nothing about the ending. So we decided to just watch it because it seems like a good show, and we're like about 6 or 7 episodes in, and we're kind of happy with it so far. So we're gonna keep on it. Do you want to guess what it is? Yes, that's correct.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which one?
Don't stop. Stop now.
What is
No.
it?
Stop.
No.
Lost.
No.
Lost.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've never seen Lost?
Wait a minute. You're watching Lost now?
Yeah, just wait. Just let me say this. Be very careful. We
Don't
know
do it.
nothing
Don't do it
about
to yourself.
No.
Don't
We
do
know
it.
nothing. We know nothing about
for
it. We
you.
know nothing about the controversy.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm totally okay with
Good.
whatever is in front of me.
You know what?
All right.
I'm going to say this, and it's an unpopular opinion. I loved the shit out of that show until the last season. I think it was a great show. And so the journey was so much fun. And doesn't Victor kind of look like John Locke?
How far in are you?
I like John Locke.
How far?
Yeah, I know you would.
I'm about I think 7, 8 episodes in.
Yeah. He's in season 1 where everyone falls in love with the show because it's so good in season 1.
really
And then it
I
all
like
goes
it. I like
downhill.
it.
That show is almost 20 years old now. You know that show is the impetus for this podcast, right?
What? No, it's not.
For me.
No, it's not.
The first podcast I ever listened to was a Lost podcast by Jay and Dan. Lost
You have to
podcast
say
by
it out loud and
Jay and
connect
Dan.
us to that. Like,
Well, because it was a great podcast, and it was the first time I'd heard a podcast that was like an after show, like ours is, right? And that kind of set the tone for this podcast.
And Al is the reason for me to ever listen to my first podcast ever. So
this is all connected.
Me too.
It's all connected.
All right, you have 3 weeks to
You know what? Enjoy the shit out of it because I thought it was great.
It's a good show. Yeah.
There's lots of seasons, there's lots of content, and so far we love it. And the thing is, it's so far removed that like there isn't any content online about it.
It won't get spoiled or anything.
Didn't it all just get dropped on Disney or something? Or where's
Netflix?
Yeah, that's probably why he's watching
Netflix now, and so that's why we started.
I'd watch it all over again, honestly.
I don't know if I would
do a rewatch. There's probably other shows I'd want to rewatch.
It's so weird, man.
But so far, I'm enjoying it for the first time. So.
All I can say is that there's still a moment in life where something happens in nature and I go, holy shit, it's lost. Like I have a moment where it's like, oh, I wonder if that...
Miss Casey in the live stream. Anything he has to say about the evolution of episodes is now invalidated by his watching of Lost.
Well, I don't know what that means to me, and I'm okay with that. And I don't want to know because I don't want it to spoil.
Well,
you know
we'll
what?
Fast forward a couple weeks, and you tell us that you've stopped watching it, and then I'll feel validated.
Okay,
I'm with you in watching. Like I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy, like not even a single episode.
God. There's too many seasons.
I would love to. I would love to. No, but it's not too late.
It's daunting. It's too much.
You'd like it.
There's like
it's like Schitt's Creek. We didn't get into that until everybody was done with it.
That's 4 seasons. This is like 20 seasons.
But I'm just saying
20,
after the fact.
And it's 20 network TV seasons. So like each season's
it's
20.
It's like getting into
episodes.
ER. I could do it.
I can do ER again.
I could do it.
Anyway, okay. So we don't want to make this too long. So let me air my grievances. So first of all, I commend them, first of all, for stepping in, and they did an incredible job. They gave lots of content to the people that love that content. And from a production perspective, they did incredible. They over-delivered on episode 1 with that opening. That was really, really well done. And then they decided to kind of pack it in for the next 2 episodes.
Oh, God.
But,
Jesus. Victor,
boy.
tell us how you really feel.
But anyway, I had real issue with part 1 because it was just all kumbaya. Everybody was just agreeing with the nonsense that I was hearing, and no one was challenging anybody.
Okay.
And it's like, they're saying, oh no, there's a lot more depth to this character. And, there was an evolution. There's no evolution. There was a shift. There was a shift from the point that Jared realized that, okay, now I can make a show about hockey. And now, because from season 1 to 6, there was no thought of that. He might have always known that he wanted to make a show about hockey, and that would have, and probably that started when he was doing the, and I'll get back to this, when he was doing the whole Don Cherry movie, but because shame on all the people that actually who are Letterkenny fans and Kiso fans that have not watched that 2-part movie.
Oh, wow.
It's like, what the hell is your problem?
You're winning awesome back anyway.
Because that is the true evolution of the Shoresy character. That's where he came from. And Don Jared Cherry may not want to, admit it, but that is the true birth. If you actually know Don Cherry and his story and you watch that movie, then you'll see how Shoresy was an actually evolution. The Shoresy that we know now, not the Shoresy in Letterkenny.
Right.
It was truly an evolution from that show, which was years before. But anyway, so for the first 6 seasons, there's no way that Kiso knew that Shoresy was going to be the character he's going to make a hockey show about. If anything, it would have been Coach, like, Cassie still dreaming about, or it would have been the 2 dum-dums, or something completely different. But at halfway through, when he realized and he was given permission to make the second show, at that point, he realized that, you know what? Maybe it can be about Shoresy, and he did a complete 180. And so from this dumb guy who doesn't even know how to skate, right? That's stupid skating. To them doing the bro dude. No, what's that? TSN show.
I would argue that the skating in that, I know what you're talking about, that gif or scene, that takes more skill than somebody who doesn't know how to skate.
In real life, but not in the world.
And by the way, there's a lot of yelling going on right now in the live stream from Casey. She's like all capsing it right now.
I don't think you guys are friends anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. But anyway, this is all with love, by the way.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like it.
I don't think Casey's loading right
you
now.
can't just
So
say
you
that.
go-
It makes everything go away.
So anyway, so you go from this dumb who doesn't know how to skate and all he knows how to do is take off his pants to this guy who now they're talking about on this TSN panel show with Duffy and O-Dog and they're comparing Shoresy to Claude Giroux, Claude Lemieux, who's got 4 Stanley Cups. His first Stanley Cup, he was a Conn Smythe winner. He won the Conn Smythe, and they're comparing Shoresy to the Claude Lemieux. Anyway, and Dino Ciccarelli, and it's like, wait a second, we go from this guy who can't skate to now this guy who's putting up points and doing all this and that. So it was a complete 180 because he needed to repaint this character as somebody that has a little bit more than depth. And then for whatever the last 2.5 seasons that we saw of him, there was a lot more character building because they needed to prepare him for the next show.
So Victor, I don't know if you heard me appearing on their.
I listened to all 3 shows. Yes,
I agree with you.
Yes,
we're on the same page.
No. Yeah. But here's my thing, and here's where one
I'm
person
loving
can
hearing
make a
about Victor's
difference.
week, by the way.
So this is
He's been holding this in for like 3 weeks, right? Yeah.
So this is my reminder to people that one person can make a difference, and that one person is Gord. And I commend Gord because with all of the eloquence and diplomacy, he was able to share his. And, if I had an opening on my team and I needed somebody to do something, Gord would be hired because he was able to influence with care, but he was honest and to the point, and he was the first one to stand up, just like in the Planet of the Apes. He was the first one to stand up and said, "No."
Did you fucking really just make a Planet of the Apes reference?
He's on a roll. Let him go. Let him go. By the way, I feel like I'm in a year-end performance review with Victor because of some of the words he's using. I feel like I've heard these words before. You've influenced with what did you say?
I don't know what I said, but what I can tell you is Gord was honest, and after him, the Avalanche started, and everybody else was feeling very, very free to share their opinions and say, "No, I don't have to agree with everything that Casey is saying." And then
you're acting like Casey was being a bully. She was just presenting her case.
But she wasn't being a bully. But at the same time, everybody was just agreeing.
Right.
And there was there was nobody challenging anybody. And it's like, come on, people, do better.
Yeah.
Good. And it's fine. It was a love fest for Shoresy. That's good. But I enjoyed the 3rd episode because there was a lot of good, interesting dialogue where there was interesting thoughts and opinions that were shared and stuff like that. And by the way, my last grievance that I'll share,
it's the airing of the grievances tonight.
Is not towards anybody, on the show, but to Kiso himself, because he did, and you guys played the clip where he used hippo as a derogatory term towards JJ, and I didn't like that. Once fine, but twice that's too far. That's too much, over the line.
Maybe that was a secret grievance at you.
No.
Maybe he listens. He's like, let me get into Victor's.
Maybe
there's a little shot at Victor. Yeah,
I like it. I like that theory better.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I think we've said this before, but an energized Victor, like a Victor with lots of sleep, is a fun,
passionate Victor.
So I think there was more stuff, but I think those were the main things. And Gord kind of shared most of the grievances I had about the show, so he kind of said it better than I could have.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Tanya.
But I got a little lost. So there was Lost, and then there was grievances. Yeah. But where was your week? Is that all you did? You just did show, listen.
I was doing a lot of running, right? So that's how I listen to these podcasts while I run. So there you go. So I did about 30 or 40 kilometers.
Wow,
listening to these podcasts.
There you go.
And you found your way out of your driveway?
Oh yeah. No, I'm still buried. We're in week 3 right now.
Oh my God.
So week 1 was wall, because there's 2 walls to do. So week 1 was wall 1. Week 2, their Polish family came to visit, and now we're in week.
What?
And
Oh,
now-
the people working on your house took a week off because they have family visiting.
That's accurate.
Left your car trapped in the garage for.
That's true.
God
And you guys are just
what are you
okay
gonna do?
with
What are
all
you
of
gonna-
this?
What are you gonna do? I mean, like you can't do anything
Don't
when
piss
you're
off
in
the
Clearly have not
Polish
met
man.
my wife.
Don't piss off the Polish.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Don't piss off the Polish.
No. So anyway, so now week 3, we're in week 3. They poured the cement yesterday, so now we're just waiting for it to dry, and then next week, and so our car will be released hopefully by Monday, and then next week they're going to be doing our walkway and stairs.
That's amazing.
We're excited for you. I mean, we'd love to see before and after pictures when it's done.
Definitely.
That's the best.
The car in the garage and the car out of the garage.
Yikes. Yeah, before and okay, Tanya.
That's the best.
Actually, sorry, Tanya, before. I actually felt a little bit like Matt today because it was garbage day.
How's that now?
What?
How's that now?
What was that? Why?
How does that relate?
because then I realized that my recycling bin, which is one of these giant blue ones,
Oh, okay.
filled to the rim, needs to go outside, and there was no way to get it outside because because our driveway has these wooden planks all through it holding up the cement wall, right?
Oh no.
Right. So there was absolutely no way to
So
get
were you
it out.
carting your recycling through the house and taking it out?
There
like
was no way
goodbye?
to get it. No, because the car is in the garage, so there was no way to get the bin into the house.
So you just kept
So
your
it's-
garbage an extra week?
It's like one of the. I was soft locked in a video game.
It's a calamity, yeah.
Yeah, so it was the soft lock that reminded me of Matt when he locked himself in that little project that he was doing in his garage. But
Did you hand bomb it?
where there's a will, there's a way.
Did you hand bomb each piece out?
Yeah.
No, I took everything out.
Okay.
Put it so I took everything out and then traversed my way through the beams because it was light enough.
It's like an
I was able
obstacle
to-
course.
Yeah, and then I took a wheelbarrow and rolled it under the beams and piled the stuff into the wheelbarrow and then pulled the wheelbarrow out.
So you figured it out.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was,
Bit of
it
a
was like
relay.
a bit of a MacGyver thing, but it was lots of fun.
Victor, I finally decided I think you need your own reality show. Like it's like the Truman Show, but it's the Victor show. And we just follow you around and it would be the most amazing hot mess.
I
in the
feel like you would
world.
be a cross between Truman Show and Mr. Bean.
Yeah, it would be gold, whatever it is, and people would be like, "Why are we still watching this?" And they can't look away. It would be an award winner for sure.
Do you vocalize when you're listening to the podcast? Like, do we have immediate inside Victor's mind reaction? Because I would watch
Like,
the Truman Victor show if that was.
Oh yeah, like
Do you talk
I think
out
we all
loud?
do that though.
Okay.
No,
All
I'm
of
kind
us.
of running right when I'm doing that, so I'm trying to not die.
All right.
But
Okay. So you're not like running down the Danforth going, Jesus Christ, Casey, give it up, and like that.
no, but in my
like-
head, I'm saying that in my head.
All
Love
right, can we move on?
Let's do it.
All
Tam,
right.
How was your
let's
week?
share our turn, all right? Because your week was kind of, or your 3 weeks were my 3 weeks. So what do you want to talk about? And
What do I want
I'll
to
talk
talk
about the other stuff.
Oh, okay. We took a week off. I don't even remember. Like,
1 week,
how
2 weeks
how
off.
long has this all been? Why did we take the first week off? I can't even remember.
Okay. Do I need to remind you? So
Yeah, so we took a week off.
yeah, we took 2 weeks off.
Right.
We were supposed to go somewhere, but we couldn't because of your foot.
Yeah.
So
Bloody hell.
we ended up making it a week of getting shit done.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a it was a bit of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my foot was acting up, and then the car started acting up, and we had too many check engine lights going on, and there was like an exhaust leak, and more money was going to be needed into the van. So instead of repairing it, we decided to go the route of replacing it. So we had to rip the Band-Aid and get a new car. So we did the whole car shopping thing, and we had the
Victor, you'd be very proud of Tanya. She was a hard-nosed negotiator.
and
through the whole
Alan
thing.
was not. He was
I just
the
sat there
worst.
quietly laughing. 'Cause
He was the worst. He's like, this is so uncomfortable. He was sitting there kind of like Matt is right now with his
Shame on
arms
you.
crossed,
Oh.
kind of sitting
No,
back.
okay.
And he was like,
Hold on, because we took turns storming out of
Only because I started the storm.
Okay, we stormed out of one car salesperson, one car lot,
and you were
because of
so,
you.
Yeah, you were so uncomfortable.
And that was uncomfortable. But she actually got the guy to admit, we were at a Kia dealership up in Barrie, and they had like the, what is it? The sales signs,
all
like
the lawn signs saying sale today. And I spoke to the guy on the phone in the afternoon, and I said, "Do you have this?" And he said yes. And he was very polite, very well mannered, very nice. I thought, oh my God, we're gonna get a good one. We went up, complete opposite of who I spoke to on the phone. I don't even know. It was a Jekyll and Hyde moment.
Yeah, well, they were playing good cop, bad cop, but it was like good salesman, stupid salesman.
God, I actually used the term "so dumb."
Yeah,
and it is my new. It's my new favorite term, because I was just like, "This is so dumb."
Anyway, she got the manager of the place to admit that the signs were a sham. There was no sale.
He actually said it's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, that's ridiculous. It was the whole thing. I said, you're just pissing me off. Like I'm telling you, I need to replace my car. I'm telling you, I need to buy a new car. Why are you doing this? Like,
he's doing the whole deal or no deal thing. Okay, I'll have to take this to my manager. Then he'd leave for about 10 minutes and come back. And this happened about 6 times.
It's such a ridiculous game.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. So
the whole thing needs to change.
Okay, so we stormed out of that car lot that night.
Well,
but the next night, I stormed out of one.
You were like embarrassed.
Well, because it was hilarious. I was just sitting back watching you.
Uncomfortable.
I would have requested to speak to the manager myself.
No, finally the manager did come. He's the one that Tanya got to admit, because she's like, okay, I thought we were supposed to get a deal here. This is a sale. He's like, and he finally said, I'll tell you the truth. I'll be straight with you. The signs are just to get people in the door.
I'm like,
so
you're
it's
not
a
even.
sale.
I said, I brought this up on the computer. You're not even the price of what the website's saying.
Yeah.
What this is your website. I don't even understand what you're doing right now.
Then the next one we stormed out of because they wouldn't give us enough for a trade-in. And I'm the one who got up and said, "What are you guys kidding me?" And then we walked out. So
well, you do it with Portuguese passion. Though.
I do, yeah.
Like you are like
this is an insult. I'm leaving. It was awesome.
I'm like, oh well, we're going. Yeah. And then the last one, you were like, oh, I'm good with that. I'm like, son of a bitch! Like you can't say that in front of the guy.
You talked him down as far as they would come. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, just sign the goddamn
Don't show
paper.
satisfaction until you leave the store.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got the car we wanted. We're very happy with it.
What'd you get?
We got a Kia Sorento, like 2024. We even got the color that we wanted, which they said was going to be impossible to find. They had to go all the way to Kingston to get it.
They went next door.
Yeah. No, anyway, it's
which color?
We're very happy. It's blue, but it's like every car is like gray, white, or black these days, right? So to get something that wasn't was tough. Anyway,
and I was killing. Okay, so all I've been doing is laughing. This car is got a mind of its own. Matt, I was thinking of you guys today because there's no knocking in this car. And I remember how much you loved the knocking in the old van because we had a sensor that was broken. And like, we're going from
the shit out of me.
We're going from regs here to like, this thing is driving itself. I swear, like it doesn't, but it feels that way because this is where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a tin can that was rusted. Anyways, this thing tells me every single, like I have 2 sets of railway tracks leaving my town, and it constantly tells me where the railway tracks are at all times. So
it's like having Victor in the car at all
feel
times.
like and then I'm like, this thing would have a seizure if we took it to Sudbury. I'm like, it would just constantly just tell me about railway tracks. Anyways, that was my and then so I was playing around with the buttons and I brought up the podcast and I was listening to the Takeover Team, which I was so excited and happy and was able to figure out how to do it. And I heard Miss Casey and all of a sudden she said very quickly, spoiler alert, and I couldn't figure out the car fast enough because I hadn't watched the last episode, and it was spoiler alert and then the spoil, and I was like, shit, fuck, I'm like trying to find the stuff.
So then she came home that night, she's like, we have to watch Shoresy tonight. I'm like, why? Because I've already been spoiled. I'm like, all right.
I'm like, let's just rip the Band-Aid. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun to get used to this, and that's been our big exciting thing. But my foot got I went 10,000 steps, which is so much better than what I've been able to do, and I'm feeling stronger. Like it's not always killing me. So all of the stuff that physio's been doing and has been helping, and that's on its way. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. We actually did Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah.
And
we went on like Wildwater
not...
Canyon like 6 straight times right at the end of the day. Pro tip.
Always got to do at the end of the day.
End of the day, because Wildwater Canyon always has hour plus lineups, but if you do it at the end of the day, you can get out and then get back in line, and it's like way shorter. We went we were the last ones on, so right at 9:45 when it shuts down, we were like the last few to ride it. So yeah, we just kept on going on.
That used to be when I was younger. That was our tradition. We'd go to that last, and we just ride it 6 or 7 times, and then go home.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah. So here's I have a tip to tell people that go to Canada's Wonderland. If you have little kids that love the little kid rides and they're not ready for that next step in roller coasters and stuff. If they get over a certain height, they cannot go on the ride with parents anymore. Like usually they can go parent and kid, but as soon, like our daughter is like 1 inch higher, and she either had to go on by herself or go on with another child.
Yeah.
She could no longer go on with us. And it became a real hurdle in the day.
We waited like 30 minutes on a couple of rides only to get there and they turned away because Veronica was too tall to go by herself. I wasn't allowed to go with her, and we didn't have another little kid to go with her.
So parents and little kids can go on, but parents and again, she was like 1 inch over the height, and she wasn't able to go on, and she wasn't ready to go on by herself or go on the bigger rides, which then we could have gone on with her. So it was a whole thing. But anyways, she had happiness in her day because she got to ride the Whitewater Rapids, like, I don't know how many times, it was 6 times or something that we went on that.
It was fun.
So it was great. Yep.
Casey, so I managed to irritate Victor and spoiled the show for Tanya. Damn. It's okay, Casey. You did a great job. Don't worry about it.
You sounded amazing.
You didn't irritate me, Casey.
Yeah. All right.
It wasn't like I wasn't going to be watching the show next, so it was all good.
I'm going to speed through these because I have a bunch and it's 3 weeks worth. First of all, we went to the powwow with Cassie that first week, the week that Victor couldn't go because he was locked in his own house. Had a great time. It was boiling hot that day, but it was an amazing time. Never been to a powwow before.
Oh my gosh.
It was such a great experience.
The music was amazing. Yeah. The drum circles, the outfits were phenomenal. Everybody was just so darn beautiful, and just the moment was magical.
Yeah. Fan Expo started today, I think. I'm going to be there tomorrow. Anyone who's in Toronto, I'm going to be there tomorrow at the Canadian Podcast Awards booth, representing our podcast for a couple hours from 1 to 3 in the afternoon, passing out some postcards and maybe doing a draw for a TPS cap or something like that. But then on Saturday, the 4 of us are going with our media passes, and we're going to check out the place and hopefully get to talk to a couple of the Hicks that we haven't, and hockey players that from Letterkenny that we haven't been able to get on the show yet. So Dylan Playfair, Andrew Herr, Evan Stern, Tyler Johnson, Kate Trevor Wilson, Michelle Milet, they're all going to be there. Oh, and Nathan Dales are all going to be there. So fingers crossed, we're going to be able to, say hi to them. And because we got I have some caps for them. I had some t-shirts too, but they haven't fucking arrived yet. And I'm a little perplexed on that one. But anyway, so that's Fan Expo this weekend. I'm headed to Winnipeg next week for work to shoot season 7 of the podcast of Yes, We Were Open. Looking forward to that. That'll be the final province that I have to visit in Canada. Next is the territory. So I've as of next week, I'll have hit every province in Canada, which I'm pretty excited about. And our buddy Jeff, you'll be happy to know that I have started watching Resident Alien, and it's a lot of fun. Tanya saw a few minutes of it. She's like, you're watching some really strange shit. But anyway, I'm enjoying it. Alan Tudyk is fun. And speaking of which, he's going to be at Fan Expo, so I'm looking forward to maybe seeing him. And I promised this story in the Discord, so I'm going to say it real quick because who was, I think it was Trolley, was sharing a link to, I don't know what country it is, but it was a place. It's like a penis festival. It's weird.
What?
And everyone in the Discord was joking that this is Tanya's thing. She'd love to go to this. Anyway, you guys may remember. Tanya and I have this thing called the Pody Award that we award each other every once in a while when we do something, dumb as a parent. And yesterday, Tanya almost earned a Pody Award.
I thought you were talking about today.
Was it today or yesterday? Anyway, we have these shoehorns.
I knew you were going to say that.
At the entrance, and our daughter was trying to get her running shoes on without untying them. She was being a lazy preteen, and she was using this blue shoehorn. We have a black one that's longer. So I said, "What about this black one, sweetie?" And she's like, "Oh, that's longer. I'll take that one." And Tanya almost said something and almost earned herself a pody, but I watched her as she checked herself because she knew that our 10-year-old daughter.
You said black. No, she said black is better. Or you
Something.
said, somebody said, anyways, it was a moment where I was like,
the black one's bigger. Anyway, I watched Tanya and I saw her internal struggle.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
She didn't say anything.
I didn't. And
but
she was looking down.
Because I know that if she had said something and we laughed, Veronica would have been, well, what does that mean? And then we would have been forced to explain it to her.
No, because that was happening, but that wasn't what was going on in my mind. Okay. In my mind, I was on my baseball. Do you remember my women's league baseball team that I was on? Yeah. Like back before children. Uh-huh. And we had girls' weekend. Every season we had girls' weekend. We'd go up to Collingwood and we would have a blast. Anyways, we went into the sex shop once, and one of the girls, Marcia, she had the biggest, blackest dildo. Okay. And that was what was playing on my head because of what had happened in that scenario. Gotcha. And so, yes, that was going on. But in my mind, I was laughing because of Marcia.
Anyway, in my mind, I was laughing because you didn't say what I know you wanted to say desperately.
I know.
All right, let's move on. That's all I have for now. Matt.
I know. I want to know, but thank you for mentioning my podium and stuff. But what is this other thing that you guys were?
I'll have to look. I forget what country it is, but they have a big festival and it's all like about penises. It's weird.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah.
I have to research this.
Yeah. I'll get Charlie to send you the link. Matt.
Sounds exciting.
Sounds exciting.
Hey guys, it's been. How do I follow all of that? Right? Holy fuck, man. So congrats on the new vehicle, guys. I'll go there. Victor, congrats on almost getting your vehicle back. So that's exciting too. I got three quick. So I'll try to make them quick because time. And then the only reason I'm adding a third one is because the second one's kind of weird, and I want to round it back out with a bit of more of a high note. So first one, took some vacation. We went back to Shoresy Shores, which was a place we went last summer as well. It was a fucking blast, man.
Mm-hmm. Was it good?
Honestly, we're already talking to the person we rented from this year about going again next year. And anyone who, it's only, even for the American friends, if you're looking for something fun to do with the family, it's only 20 minutes, I think, from the Fort Erie crossing in Buffalo there.
Only 20, really?
20, 30 minutes tops. Like it's really close. It's right on Lake Erie. It's just a really fun, cool place to be. It's right on the water, good beaches, there's pools, water slides, live entertainment, or a quarry with all kinds of fun stuff, and a really fun little culture in there where you all boot around on golf carts all day, and that's still my favorite part. And
that was going to be where we went on vacation because I'm like, they have golf carts, so I won't have to walk. But then the whole Canada Day thing happened where like
don't let that deter. Yeah, we talked to some people. Yeah, so apparently the place surged to something like, I think they had about capacity. It holds like 20,000 people or something, and apparently on Canada Day weekend it surged to like 30,000. And there was a lot of like bullshit going on. But the person we rented from, as an example, she's like, I was there that weekend and that night. I didn't even know any of it even happened until I read it in the news the next day.
Yeah, because it happened where all the teenagers were partying and hanging out. That's where it didn't happen in the. And by the way, Paddle's saying, adding to day trip. It's not a day trip place. It's kind of a resort. Like it's a closed-in resort.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. It's a camp. Like you can either rent, like there's a lot. Most of it's private ownership within the campground.
Yeah.
But they're like modular homes and trailers and things like that. But they do have tent camping that you can do, or you can bring your own. And there's cabins you can rent. There's a real variety.
Yeah.
And we definitely upgraded from our spot last year.
Mhm.
We found this nice little nook that was kind of hidden away, so we still felt like we had a lot of privacy, and we had campfires every night, and
Nice.
just so much fun. And one cool thing was one of a friend of ours, both Jen and I, because we went to high school together, ran into a friend and her husband and their 3 kids who we hadn't seen since high school. And they were staying, funny enough, about 3 cabins down from us.
Mhm.
So we ended up spending almost the entire week together. It was great
Nice.
catching up, and our kids were similar in age.
That's cool.
So it was fucking blast, man. So I highly recommend if anyone's looking for something. It is a really fun place to be, and we're already planning on going back. Story 2. My this one kind of scary moment in it, but it was an interesting learning experience and all of the above. So my youngest has allergies to sesame. But we've done blood work and stuff like that, and we're getting him checked out. And our allergist our pediatric allergist was saying, based on what we're seeing, it looks mild. Like we have EpiPens in the house,
Mhm.
and we've been carrying them around for a couple of years now. We've never had to use them or anything of that nature. But she's like, let's just test what his degree is. So basically what they had us do was come in, and it was all monitored by the staff there and everything at this clinic, which were fantastic. But basically we were doing threshold testing on his allergy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they basically give him a little bit of tahini, which is a concentrated sesame basically, and put it on his tongue, let him eat it. And then every 20 minutes they increase the amount a bit just to see
Mhm.
where it pushes him. And of course, by the third one, he started reacting a bit. He threw up. He was complaining that his throat was hurting him a bit, and we're like, oh fuck. And of course, the doctor comes in, and I didn't see this one coming. She's like, okay, yeah. So clearly he's reacting. So we're gonna stop everything, and we need to administer epinephrine. I'm like, what? And she's like, yep. We're like, but she's like, no, it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
We can't let it get any worse. So yeah, like we have a 4-year-old who's thinking this is all fun, and then all of a sudden we're like, sit down, and we're jabbing a needle into his leg, and he just went berserk. Like, of
Oh.
course, it was painful,
Yeah.
but in seconds he was like, I already feel better. And we're like, it was amazing to see. I've never seen
Yeah.
this
Mm.
happen in person.
Mhm.
And I really love the doctor in this case, because she was so calm, because she does this, like, she's the allergist. She does like, I
Yeah.
do this daily. They've experienced this many times, but she grabbed Jen and said, no, come here. You're going to do this. This is a teaching moment.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't like anaphylactic and
Right.
and like it wasn't like a peanut allergy where things were just blowing up,
Yeah.
but it was progressing. So she's
Yeah.
like, come here, Matt, you hold him down. Jen, here, hold this. She literally took her hand and helped her inject it and hold it 1, 2, 3, and
Mhm.
pull her out. She's like, now you know how to do it.
Mhm.
Right. So it
Mhm.
was, I'm like, and I applauded her after. I'm like, good for you for doing this. She's like, I do it every time
Mhm.
that I can and I'm able to, because you'd be amazed how many people assume they know how to use these things, but have never done it or anything.
Or when the time comes, they freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, so scary as hell, because I'm like, holy fuck, but it turned out to be fine. So now we're gonna put him through this like sensitivity training or
Mhm.
sensitivity thing where we'll slowly, in very micro doses, try to get his body used to it, so
Yeah.
that the goal is like when he's older, he won't have to worry in carrying EpiPen.
Yeah.
It might not work, but it's something that we can try to build up. So it's an interesting.
Yeah. My cousin's
experiment.
son has a peanut
Yeah.
allergy, and they were doing that, amping it up like little bit by little bit to try to get him, whatever.
I've been told I need to go for sensitivity training as well.
Yeah, but it's not that kind
can't-
there, Victor. Not that
Can't
kind.
imagine. Can't imagine, bud. And then my third one, really quickly, this one, because I feel like some of the people in the live chat, maybe Miss Casey's, will appreciate this one. I had an evening or a few hours to myself the other night, and I got the munchies for some weird reason.
Mm.
I can't imagine why I had the munchies, but I did. But we didn't have anything.
Okay.
So if you're ever in this situation where you have the munchies and you're hungry and you don't have snack food, you get into degen mode. So my degen mode quickly became simply a bowl of rice for my step 1, which did satisfy my need. Then I took You know those Ritz crackers, the sandwich ones that have the fake cheese and peanut butter in the middle?
Yeah, those are
I
good.
put those on a plate and then I grated cheese on top because I thought that would enhance the experiment. And then I ate that, but that still didn't do it. So then I topped it off with a bowl of just corn and peas and butter. And
Jesus.
Literally, I'm like, I was so hungry and ridiculous. But I'm like, I needed, I didn't have anything to eat.
That's bad planning. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you put the cart before the horse.
Isn't there like DoorDash in Canada?
Yeah, there is, but I'm super cheap too. And I couldn't wait that long. It's like, no, I just
Terrible
wanted. So I literally opened my freezer and I'm like, what do I have?
Enhanced mixed crackers was better than waiting. That's amazing.
I would have finished with the crackers. I think that was your mistake.
Yeah, well, I did. I think that's why I did put enough cheese on them, so I was not satisfied with the outcome. That's why I moved on to the corn and peas.
I think I would
Yeah,
have
you don't
tried
finish
like,
with finish
cheesy-
with corn and peas though.
I feel like you should have done cheese and rice and made like a patty sort of thing.
I clearly was not thinking any of this through. If you're not paying attention, it's all just kind of
your local pot store needs to sell like a marijuana survival kit where that comes with munchies and stuff. I feel like that could
There's
be like
a market for that.
that
That's
could be
a
their
good
version
idea.
of a combo. At McDonald's you get fries, a burger, and a pop. At the pot shop you should get pot, chips, and
Would you
half
like
a ham. I don't know.
roasted chicken with that? Like, right?
Yeah.
That's
Well, it's like that cafe that we went to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they should sell like
totally have food to go.
amazing.
So, anyways, that was my night. I
All
thought I'd
right.
share that.
Thanks, bud. Tobias. Sorry, it took us so long to get to you, bud. How have you been?
I'm doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So the I'll just lay out some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So within the last 3 weeks or so, I've gotten K-Trev tickets for St. Louis.
Nice.
I'm going to see on the same weekend, back to back, Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to see Cypress Hill and Ice Cube. I can't fucking wait.
Wow.
Oh,
I think Cypress Hill just recently played Toronto. If I'm not
That's
mistaken.
awesome.
Yeah, recently. And you might appreciate it. My wife just saw Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm so dare I say stoked. But school started, so I'm 2 whole classes into the semester. First time back in the classroom in a year because I was on sabbatical last year.
Right. Yeah. How's that feel?
It was pretty. It was both nice and a little daunting because I don't know half of the students on campus now, basically.
Right.
So I mean, I missed the last year's freshmen, and then we got a new set of freshmen. So, I turned in the finishing touches on a security and technology book yesterday. Asked me in the next ag hall the question that you now want to ask me, and Matt, I told you in a Discord exchange several months ago at this point that I was going to wait to wear this T-shirt for the night that I could hang out. The next night that I was going to hang out for the after party, and so this is the second shirt that I got.
Nice.
In Matt and I's deal, our Letterkenny for TPS merchant
Our exchange.
Very nice.
And also, Matt, your hat looks great.
Thanks, buddy.
You guys
Anyway, that's about it.
matching hats. That's great. All right. Well, I mean, that's great. So I guess we should just get this thing going. Here we go.
Previously.
Oh, that's right. There's no on Letterkenny. I forgot my new soundboard. Last week, the last few weeks, our takeover team did a bunch of heavy lifting, and they did an admirable job. Thank you, guys. But the last time we were on, we recapped and reviewed Shoresy 3, episode 5, Soo Hunt, with our buddy Josh. That seems like so long ago now. That episode was a Walmart unicorn, receiving a clearance rating from all of us, including Josh. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 73.7% of you agreed the episode was a fresh. 26.3% agreed with us. And once again, no composts were given. But that 26% is higher than usual so I think a lot more people agreed with us. This week, we recap and review Shoresy 3 season finale, Les Rapides de Rawdon, with our buddy Tobias. So
Did you practice that?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Victor, are you ready?
It is.
Tanya, are you ready?
Let's get on the go, boys.
I'm ready. Matt, are you ready?
Damn it, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Tobias, are you ready?
Wahoo!
All right.
Fucking going.
Let's get on the go, boys.
Here we go. We open where we left off last week, 3 weeks ago. The song Dream House by Deaf Heaven plays while a brawl was broken out in the stands between Bulldogs fans and Soo Hunt fans. Shoresy, Corey, and Liam just standing there drinking their beer and admiring the chaos they just instigated, and we get the title card. So that's the cold open, and it's a short one. But Victor, what did you think of that cold open?
Yeah, it was fine. It's just it was. I'm trying to. I was again. You have to kind of just give yourself in at some point and not dissect anything too much. But that's what we do here. We dissect things.
Yeah.
I just feel like them throwing that beer at those guys behind them is doesn't feel like enough to instigate this full out brawl, and they don't even have a single scratch on it. It's almost like a cartoon where you have this big kerfuffle with these animals, and then you got these two original guys just walking out of the haze, and they're kind of not even touched. It just felt a little cartoonish. The fact that they're just standing there, they're not part of it, and they're the ones that started everything with the beer. It's like, wait a second, wouldn't those guys just be angry at you for the beer and start pounding you? Like, how does that?
But if they don't see where the beer came from, Shoresy would have likely said, yelled at somebody else or whatever, right? Because that's what he does. Yeah.
I get it. It just it was a bit far-fetched, but it's fine.
It's cartoonish, but
it's cartoonish.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tanya, what did you think? Did you remember?
No, I agree with Victor. I shook my head when that cold open happened. I was like, "What the hell's happening?" Because that is so unbelievable. That would not have happened. It would not have played out that way.
You don't think so?
If you threw beer behind you, there's no freaking way in hell that you would be standing there without a scratch on you. Sure, if you went forward, no one would know where it's coming from, but they didn't do that. They threw it behind them. The person watching the game would absolutely know where the beer was coming from.
But I'm wondering if maybe they hit the Sudbury fans behind the Sioux fans, who then thought the Sioux fans were the ones who hit, and then that's how that started.
Wow.
Like, why not?
Wow.
Yeah, you can write a whole
get out some like mathematical equations on the arc of the beer as it flew through the air. No, I just thought if it went forward, sure, I can see that they could maybe have gotten away with it, but throwing it behind them, I had no idea why they were standing there and watching the brawl and them not being a part of it. Because I could, in my memory, not that I've went back to watch it, but in my memory, I thought when the beer went up and they stood up to turn around, the brawl was going to or they were going to be part of the brawl, or even that like the sleeves went up to start the fight. Like, I don't feel that it would have played out that way. So I didn't think it was believable.
I'm surprised you're not commenting on the fact that a couple of high school hockey players were drinking beer in the stands. So in the live stream, Awesome says they set this up like 3 episodes with the Bloosters Club ready to rip. And then they mentioned it again in this past episode. So there's a bit of that where they're trying to, position this Blooster Club to be like, the hockey version of hooligans, right? So, there's that. And Paddle said it was a couple of nutsacks in the opposing bleachers, so the friendly fans would happily kick their ass. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think they needed something to show that even when Shoresy's not on the ice, he's contributing to the team's win, and that's the premise they came up with.
And it also leads forward to the next scene where he's saying he wasn't a part of it and doesn't have a scratch on him.
Exactly. Matt, what did you think of this?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I know some things like sometimes this shit bothers me, but I get it. Even the fact if you want to go a step further and they kind of try to half play it off when they do cut to them, mixing them up. Corey is getting handed a beer. The other two already have beers. Like, how do you already have beers again if you threw your beer? But whatever. It's cartoony. It's funny. And I love they're just staring it down because they know the chaos they've just ensued. And I hadn't considered the Blooster angle, but I like that. And I can buy that a bit more. So it was what it was. But yeah.
All right. Tobias.
This is actually a really violent cold open. I mean, as a fight scene goes, it's really quite good.
That one guy's getting it handed to him.
There are 2 like serious actual fights happening. I mean, like they split up the Hunt fans. And so, I mean, it's like from that perspective, I thought it was great. And then, Matt, talking about the all three of them having a beer again. You guys should go back and take a look at the beer vendor.
Right.
She is incredibly lovely, and I believe she's been on previously because maybe, I mean, she's there is evidence here that yet again that there are incredible amount of
good looking women in Sudbury.
I'm looking at it right now, Tobias.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to scene 2. Shoresy and Nat are standing in the hall of the Sudbury Arena along with Sly Silvestri from the Vaughn team, Delaney from the Soo Hunt, the Freezer twins from Alberta, Gorgeous Scored from Charlottetown, and Marie May from Les Rapides. They're discussing whether Shoresy should be suspended for the final game between Sudbury and Rawdon. For what? Shoresy asked. For starting a brawl in the stands. Nat argues that it was clearly the Bulldogs Bluester Club. They can't suspend him for something that happened in a final game. Marie May disagrees. She wants a vote by the reps from all the teams. But then Matt makes her case.
Here are the facts. The Bulldogs and the Hunt were playing a hockey game last night. The Bulldogs won. The Hunt are now eliminated from the tournament. And the Bulldogs advanced to the final against Les Rapides de Rawdon.
That's it?
That's all that matters.
Delaney, we'll go to you.
I want him drug tested.
Fuck you, Shoresy.
Look at him, he's fucking sniffing yak.
We were up 3-0. Shoresy started a brawl in the stands that affected the game on the ice.
Physically impossible.
They came back and won.
Sure that wasn't an acid flashback, you fucking loser?
It was a clear attempt to disrupt the game.
Bit of a sour grapes bias, your people.
We had to pause play for 20 minutes.
Oh, you're lucky you didn't K-hole, Delaney.
All right, so you'd vote to suspend him for the final game.
Yes.
The vote goes to Silvestri, who unironically says the brawl was a bad look for the tournament. His vote is to suspend Shoresy, and then it's the Freezer twins.
Reasons?
Pardon?
Go ahead.
Where?
I mean, it's your turn to speak.
Who?
Either or.
Or what?
I mean, either one of you can speak.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Where?
Okay, new rule. You can't vote if you can't count to, say, 25.
I actually agree.
You can't vote if you don't know what animal goes oink.
Let's keep this moving.
I won't keep you all in suspense here. My vote's to suspend him.
You're undefeated.
So are you.
Do you really need this advantage?
No, but I want it.
All right, then. Shoresy, you're suspended.
Shoresy answers with a patented, "For what?" Gord tries to reason with Shoresy. He got knocked out cold just a few days ago. Marie May adds that he'd be stupid to play. He'd be really putting himself at risk. So why does he want it so bad? Shoresy snaps back.
Because it's the final game of the tournament.
Shoresy. And it's his final game ever.
Nat's revelation gives everyone pause, even Delaney. Next scene, cut to the kids' sports report with Jory Jordan, who has breaking news. Marie May is the hottest woman he's ever seen. Also, the worst player in Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs will retire after his last game in the upcoming tournament final.
Marie May. I'm in love with her. I'm cut off my own arm in love with her. I'll never forget the first time I saw that woman. Her beauty was shocking. Her image became so clearly etched in my mind I could close my eyes and masturbate to it. I could. But instead I masturbate to what every normal teenager does. Hardcore pornography found for free on the internet. I know what you're thinking. Bet I know what you'd like to do to her. While internet porn has shown me the thrill of sticking your entire fist in someone's mouth while they shove their entire fist up your ass, if given the opportunity, I'd just like to tell Marie May how highly I regard her. Aside from being beautiful and multi-talented, she's a devoted mother, philanthropist, and role model to young people everywhere. So what I'd like to do to her? Look her in the eye, shake her hand, and tell her I respect her.
Jory quickly pivots to the wives of the Rawdon Rapids starting lineup and what he'd like to do to them.
Chloe Deschamps. Choking is popular in pornography. Someone's always choking someone, though I've never had the desire to choke or be choked. Watching porn has taught me that Chloe most certainly has. Genevieve LaChapelle. I saw a video recently of a man spitting into a woman's mouth, which she appeared to enjoy immensely. I can only assume Genevieve would too. It's always good to say something degrading. I was raised not to speak disrespectfully to women, but perhaps Manon could say to me, Monte te belle grosse schnoz, which loosely translates to, show me your hot hobbit balls. Coraline Montaigne. Let's try a little role play. You be the saucy older teacher. I'll be the much younger student who, judging by his runty frame, shouldn't have a gigantic penis, but does.
Analysis. Next scene, analysis for the tournament continues, this time on Questionable Call. The panelists discuss the revelation of Shoresy's impending retirement. And Nick says he was golfed in the ankle one game and knocked out cold in the next. No wonder he's retiring. Tessa agrees. He's too old for this. RA wonders who fucking cares. But Nick says that judging by their viewership of the senior tournament, a decent amount of people seem to care.
Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Listen, I'm just going to say what everyone else is thinking. It's the physicality.
I can't believe the amount of fighting in this tournament.
People tune in for it. They can't help it.
But these are championship games.
It's senior whale shit hockey.
It's Bush League.
Who can complain? Every game has a handful of big goals, a bunch of big hits, and a fight.
2
2 fights?
per game, on average.
Okay, that is Bush League.
There's a national title on the line.
And they've all got to go to work in the morning.
Either way, this is hockey the way a lot of people remember it, and how many people still prefer it.
More than you'd think.
I'm from Boston. You're preaching to the choir.
Tonight, the hosts Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs face off in the National Senior Tournament Final against Les Rapides de Rawdon, owned by Quebec pop icon Marie-Mé, who has declared that if her team wins the fights, they win the game. As for JJ Frankie JJ...
He's the only one of them that isn't hurt.
Physically.
For now.
C'est vrai. After this week's explosive exposé on Et vous autres, it's safe to say that the big man will have a very big target on his back.
Cut to the sluts at their final salmon arm. This time the room is full of kids and they're loving everything Shoresy is saying.
Big as the moon. So big, in fact, that a single Frankie fart can smell like up to 4 kinds of fast food.
Yes.
I switched from Lucky Charms to Denver omelets for breakfast and have much more energy in the morning.
Well, it was a W for you, Nat.
And don't forget what you guys learned at the Q&A webinar.
And hey, you parents, too. I don't care whose birthday party it is. There's such a thing as too many 2 liters.
All right, final words of advice for the kids?
Hitch, why don't we start with you?
I'm not trying to tell you to go out and punch no one in the head. But if you does, you might get a bit more room out there next time you has the pock pies.
There are girls here too.
Are there?
Yes.
Which one's a girl?
Shoresy.
Dolo's advice is if they ever see someone looking uncomfortable or out of place, go to them and stay with them until they feel comfortable and part of the group. That's how you build a team. Goody's advice is to make a good first impression and always leave a lasting one. His words impress the sluts, but not Shoresy, who accuses him of stealing his quote from somewhere. Michaels begins with his parting words of wisdom, but then Shoresy interrupts.
I just want to say, in life,
Michaels, I'm just going to jump in here real quick. Kids, you got a million people in your ear trying to make it about a million things other than hockey. Whether they got you coming to the rink to compete or to play or to participate, it's always more fun when you win. You're going to lose more times than you can remember. You'll never forget when you win.
Thanks, Shoresy.
Don't be losers.
Okay.
You want to be a winner or do you want to be a loser?
That's it for our seminar
Go win.
series.
If you do, you'll finally get to fix your stupid haircut.
Next scene, the sluts leave the salmon arm. One of the parents is waiting for Shoresy just outside the room. She has an interesting proposition for Shoresy.
Shoresy, it's cool if I call you that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else has been calling you that at the seminars.
Mm-hmm.
And the webinar.
And the webinar.
Your audience doubled, then tripled with these talks. Must feel good.
For the community, by the community.
Nice of you guys to give back.
That's what hockey players do.
You know, I've been thinking about something you said. How people are trying to make hockey about everything other than hockey. I agree.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit weird, eh?
Everybody needs to stop being weird.
Just stop being weird.
You know, the kids like you. They listen to you.
They shouldn't listen to Michael, seriously.
I'd like them to listen to you more. We're starting a hockey school with a select group in Sudbury. You know, trying to get the kids focused on the game again, try to get them focused on winning. And we'd like you to work with them. Think that's something you'd be into?
No.
Okay, well, think about it for a while, and I'll come find you.
Okay, production note here, and in the live stream, Paddle asks if we've ever seen this parent before. We have not. Her name is she's credited as Maxime Roy on Letterkenny's website anyway, and that's actually the actress's real name, Maxine Roy. She's a French-Canadian actress who's been in so many shows. She's like got a long list, including shows like Shadowrunner, Bad Blood, October Faction. Our buddy Jeff would be interested to know she's also appeared in a couple of episodes of Resident Alien. But listeners to this podcast will be interested to note that she had a recurring role in 19-2. That's the Montreal-based police procedural that starred Jared Kiso and Adrian Holmes. You'll recall in our interview with Jared that he mentioned he'll take any opportunity to bring back actors from that cast. And it shows because now you've had Maxime on, you've had Holmes, you've had LaBeouf, you've had Petrovic, Alex Jordan, the Geordie, even Tio Horn was like on a couple episodes in 19.2. So there you go. But yeah, she's this is her first time seeing her. I get the feeling that she'll be back in the next season. All right, next scene. After his encounter with Maxime, Shoresy walks down the hall in the arena and runs into Jory Jordan, who's doing his hit for the kids' sports report. He sees Shoresy and asks if he can do a quick interview.
Shoresy, quick word for the SKSR Live.
Oh, my ankle's killing me, but fuck it. This is probably the last time I'll ever have to do this, Jory, so let's go.
It's good to be with you, Shoresy. I think a lot of people would have just ended it all by now.
Maybe.
I can only assume you're still reeling from the no-show cup loss.
A little bit.
No inclination to neck a bottle of pills or make some toast in a bathtub?
Nope.
You let down an entire town, your teammates and yourself. What advice do you have for other balding 40-year-old losers going through tough times?
Hang in there, kid.
Positive attitude is essential for any captain. Tell me, how do you manage to stay strong while falling short of expectations over and over?
Well, just gotta pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
I've heard your recent play called everything from pitiful to pathetic, but it's not as pitiful or pathetic as Frankie's recent subtweeting at Mary May.
Oh no, what's he saying now?
Today's tweets include, thanks for reminding me why I never open up. All I wanted was to be somebody.
What? Oh.
And finally, I gave her all of me and left none for myself.
What a loser.
That's all for the Sudbury Kids Sports Report.
You really like this Mary May, eh?
She takes my breath away with her image, though I do also wonder if she'd like to take my breath away with her hands.
Oh my God.
That's all for the Sudbury Kids Sports Report Live.
Oh my God.
Nope. Hey man, thanks.
Thanks?
A lot of people watch when I have you on. I'm running a business here and you're good for business. So thank you.
They both shake hands. Shoresy seems taken aback by Jory's earnestness. Jory first walks and then runs away like a kid who can't believe he just got away with something. Next scene, Shoresy's in Nat's office talking about his encounter with Jory. Nat can't believe it. Subject turns back to the game. They need Frankie tonight. Shoresy says Frankie's got a mental battle to win. Nat asks Shoresy how he's feeling. Shoresy plays dumb, but then Nat gives him a don't be stupid look and asks him again.
Oh, I could really use a shoulder right now, Nat. Thanks for asking.
Shut up.
There's a lot of things coming up. You know, a lot of emotions.
Okay,
I need somewhere to put it. You know, I don't want to just bury it like I do everything else.
Well, I'm going to follow Jory's lead, and I'm going to say thank you right now, too.
For what?
For always finding a way to contribute, for dragging this team into the fight, for giving back to the community.
Well, I know how much that fucking means to you.
And for the Bluester Club.
Well, the Bluester Club's ready to rip.
You inspire our guys, man. You motivate them. You cook for them.
It's good for the goose.
Thank you.
They both sit there quietly staring at each other for an uncomfortable amount of time, 10 seconds to be exact. And then...
You don't cry. You are. You're welling up. I can see it.
Fuck you,
can't hide
Shoresy.
that from me. Come on, sit down. We'll let it all up together. We need to stop compartmentalizing.
You've got press.
You!
Cut to Shoresy in an interview with Laura Moore.
This is it.
You look this good for all your interviews?
Took a bit of extra time for this one.
My God, woman, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
How are we going to get anything fucking done?
Don't worry, I'm a professional.
Are you? Huh? A professional with her feet touching my feet while she's at work?
How long did you plan on playing?
So long as I can fog a mirror.
Well, Bobby Bond played on a broken leg.
Zdeno Chara played with a broken jaw.
Like wired shut?
Yeah, if he puked, he would have died.
Why would he puke?
Well, there's a lot of fucking ugly dudes in the show.
Why would he put himself at risk like that?
Because hockey players don't give a fuck.
Apparently.
He would have played with an eye hanging out of his skull or a nut hanging out of his sack.
What are you going to miss the most?
The room.
Yeah?
The boys.
In that order.
Well, and being able to just haul off and punch some dude in the back of the head if I don't like what he's doing.
Think you'll be happy without hockey? Will you be happy?
Before we get to the montage that follows, I wanted to just talk about the song in this scene. It's called Serene Demon by an artist called Art Deco. You can't find it anywhere. It's not available. It hasn't been released yet. You can only hear it in Shoresy. I looked, and there's like a bunch of people on Reddit trying to find this song. It is not released, which is too bad because it's a gorgeous song. And I may have ripped it from this episode to play it at the end of this later on at the end of the podcast, but it's gorgeous. I can't wait for them to release this song. Anyway, we cut to a montage with this song playing in the background of Shoresy walking to the arena and being greeted by fans looking miserable. Then the fans arriving at the Sudbury Arena for the final game. Nat and management walking the halls of the arena toward their box. Marie May entering the arena with her players looking tough as nails, the sluts arriving. Then in the locker room, Sanger enters. The music takes a dramatic, sad turn with the camera in a slow push on Shoresy as Sanger announces a lineup and the players respond with the yahoos. All of this is happening in slow motion with no sound but the music. The singer singing, you'll be happy in a little while, so they tell you. Then the music picks up and the Bulldogs make their way to the ice. The anthem plays, the game begins. The music stops and now we're treated to a bunch of gameplay with no comments. This is where we miss Benny and Remy. Play goes back and forth with a bunch of saves. Then things get a little chippy, which is exactly what the Rawdon wants. Remember, Marie-May said if they win the fights, they'll win the game. There are scoring chances on both ends, but then finally Paquette from Rawdon opens the scoring with a break down the left wing, roofing it stick side on Michaels, putting Les Rapides up 1-0. Nat wanted that first goal. Shortly after, Rawdon scores yet again to make it 2-0. Meek tries to console Nat, telling her that a 2-goal lead is the worst in hockey. The first period ends with the Bulldogs down 2-0. Nick interviews Shoresy in the tunnel after the first period with Emma from Bro Dude looking on.
It's the fastest game we've seen.
Don't tell that to the Italians.
I won't.
Tell them the ugliest, though.
Rawdon's shooting everything tonight.
I don't even want to know the shots.
You've had plenty of scoring chances, but can't seem to find the twine.
Well, French goalies are really good.
What needs to change in the second period?
Jim. Yeah. Jim.
Yes.
Jim.
Ready to swing the momentum here, Sanger?
New period, boys. You got to set the fucking tone.
Ready to go.
Guys, they're shooting everything. I never see a team with so many injuries as this, but we gotta be blocking shots.
Blocking shots, c'est toute la gang.
How about Michael's boys? Get the body in front.
Yeah, but we need shots. Boys, we're not going to win this game unless we score some fucking goals.
Find a fucking way, Frankie. You got to find a way, big boy.
Quoi? Faut que tu scores, tabarnak.
Let's get one here and keep going. I know you're all hurt, but we need to see everything you've got for 40 more minutes. Come on, boys. Let's fucking see it, huh?
Get the body in front of the boys.
Let's fucking go. Set the tone.
According in the live stream, Awesome's saying Art Deco, the artist that who plays that song, is actually a friend of Jared's, so that makes sense that he would have that song ready to go for Shoresy. Anyway, next scene. Where did I leave off? Oh, next period. Tense music begins as the puck drops, and so do the gloves. The Gyms square off against the top three tough guys from Rawdon. Gym 3 drops his guy first, causing Marie-May to look concerned. Then Gym 2 falls to his guy. Marie-May looks pleased again. It's up to Gym 1 to set the tone against number 25, Bossé, and he finally drops him with a hard left. Marie-May is once again upset. Play resumes, and we see Dolo go down and block a shot which hits his bad leg and leaves him curled up in pain. Next up, Fontaine scores to put Rawdon up 3-0. More block shots, first by Goody, then Fish. The Bulldogs are taking a pounding. Then Les Rapides score again to go up 4-0. The Bulldogs can't buy a break. Next play, Shoresy blocks a shot off his bad leg and can barely get up. Second period ends, Les Rapides are winning 4-0. Next scene, Shoresy hobbles back to the locker room with Sanger. They look around. The team looks beaten up and dejected. They seem to be out of answers. Nat calls her captain and coach out into the hallway.
How bad is it?
Doesn't matter.
No excuses.
Seriously, how banged up are we?
Doesn't matter.
Never let them know you're hurt.
How are we going to score 4?
Gonna find that fuck you attitude.
Shoresy and Sanger walk back into the locker room. Shoresy hobbles over to Michaels first.
Keep the puck out. Need you to keep the fucking puck out. Can you do it?
Just worry about the guy, dude.
I got him. Don't worry about him. Can you keep the fucking puck out?
Yeah.
Keep the fucking puck out. Need 5 fucking goals, boys. Need 5 fucking goals here. I know everybody's hurt. We need 5 fucking goals. Who wants them? Who wants the goals? Hitch. You ever been on a team this good?
No.
Get one for us. Dolo. You ever won a national title?
Nah, bro.
Get one for us. Goody. You ever been on the best team in the entire fucking country?
Not yet, Shoresy.
Get one for us. Fish, you'll never be back here again, you fucking loser. You know it.
I know.
Get one for us. Hey, big boy. Everybody's playing through something here. You gotta play through it.
On joue tout maganer le gros.
You gotta battle.
Faut que tu te battes, le gros.
Whatever's fucking going on in Quebec, forget it.
On s'en calisse, faut que tu scores.
You gotta play through it. We need you. We need you here. We need you. Come on.
Next scene, the Bulldogs take the ice for the final period. Shoresy is basically using his stick as a cane at this point. He starts off by taking a run at the Rawdon goalie, knocking him over behind the net. That starts a skirmish as Les Rapides come to their goalie's defense. Shoresy gets sent to the box, but so do two Rawdon players. In the ensuing power play, Hitch scores for the Bulldogs, 4-1. Fish blocks the shot, another shot, then Dolo scores to make it 4-2. Next up, Goody tucks in a pass from Fish to bring the Bulldogs within one goal. The crowd is going wild. Nat and management are going crazy. The Bulldogs have momentum. Next up, Fish scores on a give and go, and the teams are tied up at 4s. Then finally, on a one-timer from Goody, set up by Shoresy, it's Frankie JJ from the hash marks. The Bulldogs take the lead with seconds left, and the arena goes wild as the clock ticks down to 0. The Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs have won the National Senior Tournament. The players take the ice, throwing their gloves, sticks, and helmets in the air in celebration. Next scene. Then we cut to silence. We fade in on Shoresy limping down the hall in the arena carrying the trophy. Players dash past him to the locker room to continue the celebration, but Shoresy stops short against the wall, puts the trophy down and drops to a knee. We only see him from behind, but it looks like he's sobbing. Nat walks up behind him and takes a knee beside him with her arm around him and her head on his back. Next scene, cut to a couple of days later at Eddie's. Shoresy and Laura Moore are sitting at their booth.
How was the 2-day bender?
You'll have to ask someone else.
Sorry, I couldn't join.
Too old for this.
I know I am.
I meant I'm too old for this.
So break it down for me. You win the game, you raise the trophy.
In our own barn.
Off the ice and into the room, champagne showers. Then what?
Then they cut to the Bulldogs locker room. Nat, Dolo, and management are shaving the sluts' heads in celebration of their victory. The rest of the team looks on and laughs. Back to Shoresy and Laura. She takes his cap off to reveal his freshly shaved head.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Then what?
Quick chat with Bro Dude and off to supper. Roll Gorgeous did not disappoint.
I love that about hockey players. You all spend a week trying to kill each other. But there's almost never any carryover after the final buzzer. A handshake and it's done.
I want the beers getting warm.
Cut to the lobster feast put on by Gorgeous Gord and his Charlottetown teammates. The Freezer brothers sit next to Jim 2, followed by Delaney and Jim 3. Shoresy sits next to Gord Galan, followed by Goody. The Rawdon players are also there with Sly Silvestri, Hitchner, Ugly Palmer, Michaels, and everyone else. But back to Shoresy and Laura. They flirt for a bit, and then Laura asks Shoresy what the chat with Bro Dude was all about. We flash back to the players leaving the locker room with their freshly shaved heads. Emma from Bro Dude is waiting outside for Shoresy.
Hey, Shoresy.
Good evening.
Can I talk to you for a sec?
Okay.
Nice hair.
Yeah, Hitch barely looks like a fucking idiot at all now.
Yeah, that's a good look for you.
Yeah, if it weren't for his face, he'd barely look like a fucking idiot at all.
What's with the new look?
Oh, we were just being degenerates and we cut off our hair and couldn't fix it until we want it all.
It's a good deal.
That's a better deal if you're not a degenerate at all.
But I wouldn't say it's fixed.
Get the fuck out of here, Michaels.
So, you're done as a player.
Yeah, do you want to say sorry to hear?
I want to offer you a job.
No then, eh?
How would you like to be an analyst for Bro Dude Hockey?
Shoresy doesn't answer. Then we cut to Shoresy sitting in Nat's office.
They want you to be an analyst?
Yeah, said they wanted a really good-looking guy. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I guess we're having a hard time finding really smart, good-looking guys. I don't know.
How much are they going to offer you?
Why?
Because I have to match it.
For what?
You're going to coach.
Nat takes out her checkbook and starts writing a check, and we cut to black with the words, "This is the end of Shoresy." And then after a few seconds, the words "Part 1" appear below it, and roll the credits. All right, that is the final episode. Time for discussion. No ratings, Victor. Just what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, it was a good episode. It started a little weak for me, but it finished super strong. So balanced out to be a pretty good episode. If we just quickly touch on some topics, for me, the first jury scene was a little bit offside. I don't know why it needed to go into kind of the dirty stuff, except for that cut of "this is pretty dirty," and then the Bro Dude or the TSN crew start, talking about the dirty plays on the ice. But it was just, I don't know. It was fun when he was talking about Marie May and making fun that, I'll just give a quick comment about Shoresy, but this is really about how great Marie is. But then the porn stuff just got a little bit too like, okay, let's move on. So that scene was okay for me. The TSN scene was just okay as well. I felt like there wasn't much. For me, like the fact that they ended it on explosive expose on JJ, and I think we've all agreed that that whole part wasn't really going anywhere for us.
Right.
So that scene kind of didn't really do it for me because they didn't really. I don't know. I don't think it really added a lot to the episode. The kid scene was cute. I was kind of wondering, how did that kid know about the haircuts? Because I don't remember them that information getting out in any way, but maybe I'm missing something.
Well, I mean, during the anthems, they have to stand out on the ice with their hats.
No, but the fact that they have to be that way until they win.
Oh, like that in the previous webinar, I think Shoresy says that they won't shave their heads and if they don't win the thing.
Okay, so, I'll give you benefit of the doubt on that one. The mom scene was weird for me because I felt like it was a bit of a throwaway because like what were they doing? What was the point of that?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly what the point of it is. But
okay, well, save it for when it's your turn. Yeah. I felt like it's like, oh, let's read a little bit into the Shoresy character, and I thought like, oh, do they want us to think that he's gonna like think that she's hot and whatnot, and what about and so so that scene was for me, it's like, okay, that's interesting, and then we're getting into the good stuff, right? So the demon song was we got introduced to that as they're getting ready for the game, and that was awesome. Started to take me back to the 80s a little bit, and it was perfect, right?
The slap back kick.
And because the whole thing from then on is just the trope sports movie, right? Where the team is down and are the Mighty Ducks going to come back? And for me, it actually took me all the way back to Youngblood. So if anybody is remembers that movie from the 80s, probably one of the best corny, cheesy hockey movies ever in the history of time. Love that movie so much.
With what's his name, right? Mr. Squarejaw.
From Grindr and
what's his name?
What is his name? Everybody?
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe.
Yes,
that's it.
Thank you, Rob Lowe. Yes, that was one of his first big movies, I think, if you can consider that big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very like for hockey, like there's no hockey player that has not seen this movie.
Yeah.
So for you guys that want to kind of dig back into the archives, you'll have a good laugh watching that movie. It's not a comedy, by the way. Anyway, so that was really good. Let's see, the speech that Shoresy gives between period 2 and 3, awesome. Shoresy, really, this whole episode, Shoresy is like a stand-up guy. Aside from the jokes that he does, at the end during the interview with the bro dudes, and making fun of Michaels, who always ends up being the butt end. He and then not letting him speak at the kids seminar, but for the most part, like he is like such a stand-up, mature, like he is like a former shadow of himself of what we got introduced in Letterkenny, right? Like and that and that shot, like when before the game where they're zooming in on him in a locker room and he's like
Love that
was
shot.
that was so well done.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had like a very intense look, and it was really good.
That was so well done. And then we get to the third period, where now we're totally into the 80s, and that organ that I don't know if you have a name of that song, but that song was so pivotal, so we need to find it.
Oh, I didn't even look for that one. No, sorry.
Yeah. So that the third period, like all we're hearing is that the piano song in the third period, but that was like right out of the 80s. Like that's so okay. The team is now going to come back, right? It
to
was.
me, it felt like a Tron movie or something.
Yeah, it had a very electronic pulsing, but I think there's like a reason for it that I'll touch on in my turn. But it's good.
I'm not giving taking all the time here. And then after that we get one of the things when they were, maybe you'll have some insight into this as well. So during the montage, right towards the end before they win, there was like one shot of them all kind of on the ice kneeling, like, like getting ready for a photo. I was like, was that like to tell us they won? Or like, what was that? Was that a flashback? What the hell was that?
I think they threw that in during that montage a couple of different times, the exact same kind of shot.
Yeah.
It was a little out of place because it's very static compared to all the rest of the.
I just didn't get it.
I think it was just more kind of showing how focused they were, and as
the team shot, is that what you're talking about?
The team shot. Yeah, it was a little. It seemed a little out of place, but it also ramped up the intensity. I thought because they were like,
I had no problem with it at all.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I had a problem with it. I'm just saying I didn't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the reason is just to ramp up the intensity because they look so focused there, right? So
no, for sure. Tobias, I can see the wheel spinning in his head. He's gonna loop us in.
Yeah.
And then I love the when they're all breaking bread because that is hockey, right? Like all the shit that happens on the ice, but then afterwards these people get along. I didn't really like Shoresy giving Chara any kind of cred there. I wasn't happy about that. But whatever.
You're biased against the Bruins, so that's.
I am a little biased, and that was specific. I believe that was the series where they beat the Leafs. So Anyway, and then
the series,
well, the 2013 one.
Every series that they beat the Leafs, yes.
Yeah. But that was specifically 2013, where the 18-wheeler went off the cliff. And then the final scene. What I'm super curious about, I'm sure maybe a few other folks are, is like, hey, what about Sanger? What the hell is going on there?
I've got
and I'm sure I'm sure he'll be well taken care of. But that was going to be for me kind of the cliffhanger there. But anyway, so that's all I'll say.
And that's a lot, Tanya.
It was a lot of episode. Like it was a long episode.
Yeah, 28 minutes. Yeah, one of their longer ones again. Yeah.
So I don't know how to word it, but I wasn't entirely sure who I was watching. Like I know we've had a major story arc with Shoresy, but this was not Shoresy anymore. The episode, he was so different from who he was.
Well, he's facing the end.
Almost not even recognizable. But for who we know him to be, he wasn't that person in this episode. Kind of to what Victor was saying. In the first scenario or the first part of the episode where he's being suspended, he was holding on to Sanger before when he was losing. He was choking back tears just playing the national anthem. Like this guy he was begging Nat just a couple episodes ago to put him in, that he wasn't finished playing. And now all of a sudden, not only is he not finished, he's finished playing or not playing that game, he's finished playing completely. How is he not sobbing? And
well, he was
at the end. But through the whole, like those were those traits that we,
I think this whole episode we saw a subdued Shoresy looking at the end, staring straight at the end of his career. It was coming. It was that night. It was going to be his last game. So you're not going to get the boisterous rapid fire insult Shoresy because.
But the story arc's been happening before this moment. It's just that this moment, this episode, it was very focused in on like him speaking clearly to all of the interviews. We saw that happening earlier on where he was kind of the dum-dum and he was kind of everything was highlighting that he wasn't stringing his words together well and he wasn't pronouncing, he wasn't saying words properly. And now all of a sudden he's saying words properly and they're asking him to coach and to be in front of the kids and to like, it's just, I know that we've been building in this direction, but it just feels like this was very much shoved in your face now. It's like, this is the story now. This is the direction he's going in. He's not going to be that person. He was saying to Laura Moore, that he feels natural in the hockey on the ice because that's where he can punch people. And now this is the end of it for him. So I wasn't entirely.
I mean, you bring up a good point, and I'm wondering, and I'll ask Tobias because I feel like he, in terms of trivia and stuff, he'll know better than us. did Nat just decide it was Shoresy's last game, or was there a point somewhere in previous episodes that I missed where Shoresy finally admits, this is my last game, this is my last tournament?
I think awesome is the right one to ask. But
because it was kind of surprising when Nat says this is going to be Shoresy's last game, right? Like it almost felt like she made the decision for him, right?
Some of this I will save, but I think that there's a concussion protocol here,
right?
That was not followed, and it's pretty disturbing to me, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll stop there, except to point out that so far, Victor and seemingly Tanya and maybe even Al agree with Casey that there is probably since the first episode of Shoresy or of Letterkenny that there's been this evolution of Shoresy. And I'm just kidding, but yeah.
That's enough out of you, Tobias. All right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a hockey question though.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shoresy's on the ice. He crashes into the goalie who is out of his crease, out behind his net. He's open game from my understanding of the game.
No, that's wrong.
Is he not open? He's an open player.
No.
And he comes behind. He was behind
in the 80s. There was kind of an unspoken rule. If a goalie leaves the crease, he's kind of open game, but they kind of clamped down on that because goalies were getting like killed, and so they needed to protect the goalies, and so
But again, Shoresy didn't go into him. Like,
no, Shoresy did it on purpose because he wanted
to do it on purpose. But he
Shoresy got a penalty for that.
Yeah,
he got a
penalty for that.
So that was my hockey question. Yeah. Should he have gotten a penalty?
Yes, absolutely. He did, but he did it on purpose. He did it with intention because the goalie was playing really well up until then. He even said French goalies are really good. He needed to rattle that goalie's cage, so to speak, and
get a power play.
And get a power play. He did both by hitting the goalie. He sacrificed himself for the good of his team.
Okay. Second hockey question. If a game, so this story that they have where a fight happens in the stands and it paused for 20 minutes, would that be penalty to the home team?
There's been cases of bench penalties being issued because of something that happened in the stands.
They're usually fines.
Or they're fines. Yeah. They're not usually penalties during the
or
games.
Suspending a person that like that whole storyline, that's not a true scenario.
No, it could be like if something like that happens. Yeah, if something happens in an arena with the fans, that team can be reprimanded in some way. It's not a penalty during the game, like Victor said. It might be a fine or something.
It's typically a storyline in soccer or football matches in Europe.
Yeah. Awesome says that when Shoresy was at Eddie's with his family and he had his head down, that was him making the decision. So. Yeah, I mean, I could see that for sure, but it's not.
That was because he had a major concussion. He couldn't play for the first time.
Yeah, I saw that as he was still angry and sad that he couldn't play in that game, but I mean,
because up to then, he was still playing.
There was never a point where he said, "I'm not." This is my last game. Like the first I hear of it is not saying on his behalf. So anyway, you make a good point. But anyway, I've got some thoughts on that, but yeah, go on.
And I agree with Victor. The whole Jory thing, like I get it. He's a horny teenager and all he's thinking of is sex. But that Matt, like the all that stuff, it was like, what on earth?
Spitting in mouth, fist up the ass. Come on, leave that alone.
I'm like, then no, I agree with you on that one. I kind of miss that Shoresy and Laura didn't have more of a scene together because...
So did Chad, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Chad. Yeah, and then that was my thing too, Sanger. Like if Shoresy is going to be coach, Sanguinet has had such a good story arc and has been doing an amazing job.
And looks great in a suit.
I would hate to see him go. So interested to know what's going to happen there.
Okay. All right. So a few things that I wanted to bring on. I mean, I agree with most of your points, Victor and Tanya. Did anyone else miss Benny and Remy during the hockey scenes? So those Victor's got his hand up. So those hockey scenes were different in this episode because the first period was just hockey. There was no music. So unlike Letterkenny and Shoresy to have that much action happening and no music. It was just crowd noise and puck and all that stuff and skates and stuff. And in the past we had Rennie and Benny narrating what's going on, and this time we didn't. So obviously, Tierney wasn't available. Maybe even what's his name? Torrance might not have been available for this season. Who knows? But they weren't here, and to me, their absence was absolutely felt during, especially that first period. The tension building in the final game. I think it was Paddle who was mentioning, and you guys mentioned the song selection for the third period, that almost percussive synth sound that just got more and more intense and everything that kind of happened. And like Shoresy's speech in the locker room, having, and Paddle mentioned this as well in the live stream, having everything Shoresy's saying to Frankie JJ being translated by Dolo, everything was just ramping up. And it's like that percussive, nature of that sound. And we, Awesome's talked about it before, Jared is a drummer. And so a lot of it is to him is like rhythm and stuff like that. You really felt it. I thought it was really well done. The music selection there, while it isn't a song that I would maybe normally listen to, it was kind of really perfect for that scene and then showing all the gameplay and then the comeback. Really, really, really well done. We're setting up this whole season is basically setting up 3 possible scenarios for part 2 of Shoresy. Right. And I disagree with what people are. I think, Victor, you said, why is that parent showing up for the first time? It's kind of out of the blue. She may be out of the blue, but the idea that Shoresy might make a good teacher or a coach for kids has been being set up from the beginning of this season. They've been talking about it. That's the reason for this seminar and webinar scenes for the kids loving him and stuff like that. So that's path 1. That could be Shoresy might become a kid's coach and or teacher or mentor. The second option is obviously the Don Sherry option, where he becomes a commentator. That's also been being set up the entire season with a Nick always interviewing him, and then she brings Emma from Bro Dude in to see him in action, and Emma's like seeing how popular he is among the people. And Victor, the questionable call today, yes, they did mention JJ, but Nick mentioned how popular this tournament is with viewers. Again, I think that's going to saying that it's the Shoresy effect. And so I think that's like setting up another potential path. And obviously the third path is Nat offering him the coaching job. And you're right. Like, what does that mean for Sanger, right? What I found interesting, and we can talk about this also in the season 6 recap with Dean in a couple of weeks. During his speech in the locker room, he goes to Fish and he says, "You're never going to be here again. So score us a goal." Why isn't Fish going to be there again? Mm-hmm. So is there going to be maybe like, if the third option is taken where he becomes coach, could it be that there's going to be 2 teams, one maybe Sanger leaves and coaches another team and Fish is on that team, and Shoresy takes over the Blueberry Bulldogs, and there might be a bit of, that a rivalry there. Who knows? Like, I think they're setting up for 3 possibilities. And I love this because now, for until the next season comes out, we're going to be wondering, is it Shoresy the teacher, Shoresy the commenter, or Shoresy the coach? So I think they did a really good job of kind of setting up the will they, won't they? And I really, I thought that was great. And it kind of dirty on their part of saying this is the end of Shoresy and then waiting those 3 seconds or whatever before you saw part 1. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, you guys have said a lot. Mm-hmm. And I agree with most of it, actually, coming from all angles here. I will lead with, to me, this is the best finale of the 3 seasons.
Wow.
I really like it. Really? I'll touch on a couple just minor things first. So some standout moments for me are like the Freezer twins in that conversation early on. Those guys, they just fucking slay me. Yeah. Jory running away, like you described, huge moment for me. Those are just good laughs.
Yeah.
Is he ruthless, whether you like what he's saying or not. And maybe it was a passing of the guard here a bit, or changing the guard here a bit, where you guys are all talking about Shoresy being a little more subdued, so they need someone to balance it out. And well, enter Jory, and that kid is just ruthless. So
I like the handshake moment between the two of them for sure, and Shoresy's kind of look of confusion. What's happening here? I like that.
Absolutely. And those where you start getting into it a bit. So you guys are all spot on, and the fact that this is a very different Shoresy, but I wasn't mad at it in the slightest. I think they've really set up his growth path. I think your comments around the announcement of his retirement, it may have had to do with him with the family. Why did Nat announce it? Clearly you just have to make some assumptions that a conversation happened between the two of them behind closed doors, and they decided it, whether he it's yes.
So in the live stream again, Awesome says Nat told him to think about whether he should play again at all and to talk to his family. And then we see the scene with his family. Yeah. So, okay. I mean, fair enough. I kind of remember that being said. But yeah, I didn't take it that the reason he was upset in that scene was that he decided he wasn't going to play anymore. I just thought it's because he was still pissed at Nat. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, fair. And actually, Nat's announcement of it, I thought was more fitting than him saying it, because I don't think it would have come across the same way, because he's so emotional about everything.
Right.
I don't think he could have gotten those words out. So she did it on his behalf to make the point, which then, he got to play. So I thought that was really, I love that. And then we fast forward to the hockey sequence, and my God, this is some of the best TV I've seen in a long time, in my opinion. Very little was said except for the between periods, but the way they shot it, cut it, the music, the intensity build across those things. I like your description of the rhythm and the beat, because it was so spot on, especially that third period. But like, it just got me. And I've always talked about not being a sports fan. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I like sports stories, right? So that back half of this episode is exactly why I love sports movies and stuff like that, is the way they did this. That speech alone, it takes me back to like, Coach Carter and Samuel L. Jackson doing his speech, or Billy Bob Thornton doing the perfect speech in Friday Night Lights, right? Or even Emilio Estevez in D2 with his whole Ducks Fly Together speech, right? Like those,
probably more like that one,
right? I'm just saying, like they all have their own moments in their different spaces, and I thought the way he approached everyone was brilliant, and he knew what he needed to say to get through to them. And the most surprising this whole episode, which has been called out too, is his conversations with JJ Frankie JJ. Was like he was supporting him without quiver at all. Like there was comments where he got brought up a few times, and he just kept saying he's going through some stuff, he's dealing with some stuff. There wasn't any moment where he took a shot at him, and I love that about him in this one. I think he's come to grips with the end. He's trying to make the best of it and go out gracefully to in the way that Shoresy needs to. Now, to your point about the story arc, I don't know if it's because maybe they didn't know, or Jared didn't know which direction he ultimately wanted to go. So maybe he wrote 3 possibilities, because he's like, between seasons, okay, now that I've let this ponder over a bit, here's the one we're going to go, right? Or maybe he knows all along. It's possible he's very by design guy, but I love that they set up these opportunities and these little hints of, here's one route to which door do we choose, right? So we're all going to sit here for the next 6 months and go, fuck, which one is it? And the biggest red flag for me is Harlan and the and Sanguinet. Like, what does that mean? If they go that route, what is that like? Do we lose Sanguinet? Like,
he becomes
that
GM.
I don't know.
Do we get 2 teams in Sudbury?
Yeah,
or Sanger goes to a rival team and takes Fish with him, because I found it weird.
Like Coach Lasso.
Yeah, why not? I found it weird when he went to Fish. He said, "You're never going to be here again, you fucking loser." What did that mean, right? Like,
he's going with Sanger to the opposing team.
Maybe.
There's just so many questions that they've set up for them to address in any way. Like, there's so many outcomes that could come from this, and I actually really like that as an ending.
Me too.
Knowing that there's more coming, and then of course that end of part 1. To me, that says there's 3 more seasons.
Or 3 more parts. So actually 6 more seasons.
Yeah.
Sorry, two more parts.
Okay, yeah, like a hockey game, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, let me ask you a question. So you said you thought this was the best finale from the Shoresy season so far. If last year's finale wasn't ruined by the opener of the season, would you still think that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I genuinely watched this episode multiple times. Not even just because I wanted to prep for this, because I really enjoyed the episode. I loved how it flowed. I loved the build up across it, the pacing of it. I thought it was shot well. It was cut beautifully. Like even that song, the way that it paced to the beat. In a lot of cases, I was watching. I was literally snapping along for the cuts as they were going along. I'm like, bam, bam, bam. I love that kind of shit. It gets me excited when I'm watching and filming like movies and TV and stuff like that. So I just genuinely thought.
I agree. I asked just because last year's finale was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
We were all kind of excited about it, and then it was just a little bit kind of rain on our parade.
Fair. And the one thing, actually, funny you talk about the ending. I will say, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this one just because it's like the only hockey fact I know. But when I first watched this, and I'm like, fuck, they came back from 4-0 to win 5-4. Like, that seems so ridiculous. But then, of course, I remembered the Leafs in Boston.
2013.
Is that the 2013? Is that the same series where they,
they were up 4-1.
4-1. I know. Hey, this is my fact. Come on. I had one fact and you took it from me, man.
Fucking Chara.
Anyways,
All
so
right.
I'm like, it is possible.
It's possible.
Made it more believable for me.
There you go. All right, Tobias, you've been very patient and quiet, bud. What do you think?
So I have lots of thoughts. I actually really like the Blueberry Bulldogs players in the hockey seminar. I mean, even there's little things like the changing the breakfast habits to the Denver omelet.
Yeah.
As someone who has been to Little League games at 8 p.m. and seeing kids drinking, like Mountain Dew. I thought the too many 2 liters was wisdom, quite frankly. I really like Dolo's advice. I like Shoresy's expose, not on winning and losing so much, but as remembering winning and losing. I thought that was really excellent. And I think, quite frankly, that was the moment that opens up this idea of him as a kids coach. The emotional talk in the office, primarily with Shoresy and Nat, I thought was really great. And they have a much deeper relationship. I mean, this is kind of a dumb moment, right? But they have a much deeper relationship. And so I would actually really like to have the sort of prequel because, and to give Casey her due, quite frankly, no, I'm being serious about that. So there's this arc, right? And then there's been that discussion in the Discord about the time lapse between Letterkenny Shoresy and Shoresy.
Right.
And the relationship that Shoresy has with Nat's mom, but Nat's in that picture too.
Right.
And there's been almost no discussion about that.
And I was gonna bring that up because
go ahead.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this episode, isn't there an allusion to Shoresy being a 40-year-old?
Yeah.
But in Letterkenny, I think we all surmise that he's in his early 20s, right?
Doing the math as Awesome did, Shoresy was the youngest hockey player on that show,
right,
to begin with.
So I guess we're not going to hold them to canon because, again, I don't think that Shoresy was planned from the beginning, like Casey was saying.
My point is to give her due. I'm not gonna do the is she right or wrong here. But that Nat's relationship with Shoresy, and we've seen it really from season 1, episode 1, right? But then there's the I think it's in the townhouse, but did you ever stop to think that I love you more than I love hockey or love winning? Sorry.
Yeah.
And then again, that relationship, that exchange in the office. and then just kind of to fast forward, he's going down the hallway with the trophy. There's that exceptionally poignant moment when she's right there for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I love that moment. That's a great moment.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really like the music in the episode. Like more than I love Letterkenny and Shoresy music. I love the music in this episode more than maybe any other, overall at least. We've talked about the period 3 music. And you mentioned the and I don't know if it's the same song. It seemed like a different song to me, but the pregame music when they pan in on Shoresy's face.
Yeah, it's a different song. Yeah.
Okay, no, but then also there's a really great song during period 2 when the gyms are fighting, and there you still get you get a lot of that same beat setup.
I think that's the tail end of that song.
Okay, like with Gym 1, like his body movements as he's trying to like get the angle that he wants on his opponent, whose name I forget, quite frankly. But anyway, like it's really great.
Yeah.
Give me just a second. I want to cross some stuff off so I know what to do. I'm trying to do this at least mostly in order. There was talk at some point on previous episode about being tired of the Frankie JJ storyline. I'm kind of there with questionable call, quite frankly.
Right. Okay.
I'll do, so I actually like, I understand in some ways it's a plot device, but getting a Nick into the arena is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think the interview with Laura Moore and Shoresy, what are you going to miss the most? The room, the boys. First of all, as someone who has quit football twice now, technically, I get that. But she then asks if he'll be happy, and he doesn't answer her in return. And that part's important because that is the transition into the locker room, the pregame locker room, with the lyric about "you'll be happy in a little while."
Yeah.
Or so they tell you.
Yeah. I love it. I love that. It's perfect. It's almost like it was written for this.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sorry. I was once in a locker room in which I was on a team. I was with a team, I guess. I was coaching that was getting the ever living crap kicked out of them. And one of the coaches took a moment to say to the locker room that we're not going to win this game. And then we started subbing people out at halftime.
Right.
And as someone who has watched, and by the way, he was right. But the point here is, to me, is that we had the same amount of time that we had already played to at least potentially come back. And I have never that moment. I really like this guy. He's a good friend of mine. But I have never liked that moment. And the locker room between periods 2 and 3, don't worry about him. I got him, and then Hitch, and then Dolo, and it's kind of going down the line. That is tremendous. And even if they had lost, it's still the right move,
right?
In my opinion. Like you, I'm not sure why Fish won't be back. So I actually went to IMDb today to see if he was on a show that like if he was leaving Shoresy for something else, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is why I learned, by the way, that Jacob Fish, who plays Fish, is known for 2 things: Shoresy and being on the produce stand.
So we're his second credit on IMDb.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Awesome.
So it was worth the small rabbit hole that I went down to do that. There's going back to the wondering about Sanger. I actually really like the Sanger Shoresy hug at the end of the game. Which there is, you guys didn't mention that, but and I like it a lot because, you know, in this season there is at least some tension. And, you know, I mean, Sanger ends up apologizing about, you know, eventually putting him in and getting him concussed, you know, I mean, all that stuff. And so I thought that was a really great moment. That's the last time that you see them together. I mean, I guess they're probably in the locker room together, but I don't, you know, Sanger's not getting his haircut. So, this episode and the season, the show really, but this does a really great job of showing the importance of the team to the community. You know, so I mean, you know, the way that season 1 ends with, you know, the true love, and, you know, I mean, like that's great. But in between, you know, I mean, like going into the game, I think it is between periods 2 and 3. They pan out to all the fans coming in, right? And there's the guy like hanging out of the truck and like beating his chest with the you know, and my favorite guy, or my favorite one is the guy with a decent beard, you know, but walking by the camera and just flipping it off, right? I mean, I love that. You know, and I do think that it's important to note the importance of sports to the community, not just to the players. My question, I mean, beyond is Sanger leaving the team? I'm actually wondering how much money Nat is getting for this tournament, because assuming that Sanger stays, presumably he would remain the head coach, which means that Shoresy would be the assistant coach, but his salary is based not on, you know, a percentage of what the head coach would be getting, but what the bro dude is
offering.
Right. And so, I mean, I guess I'm not sure about, you know, the potential.
Yeah, this is senior whale shit hockey. They can't be carrying a coaching staff like that. So I feel like there's going to be a change there, and it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying. I mean, you know, and then, you know, you mentioned the scientific Twitter poll about for episode 5, and the number of freshes versus clearances. As I said 3 weeks ago or a month ago now, I guess, I actually thought that was a compost episode, and I felt that way based on the lack of understanding of the current medical practice surrounding concussions. And that I mean, as a football coach, as a former football coach who has had to retire sophomores in high school, it's really important to me. And so I understand the plot device of, you know, having a fight in the stands and then having, you know, the representatives of all the team player or of all the teams, you know, and the vote about whether he's eligible to if he should be allowed to play in the final game. You know, Gord makes this you know, reminds the audience, quite frankly, that he had a concussion, a massive concussion, to which, you know, he had been strapped to a gurney and wheeled out. A couple of days ago. This is a week-long tournament. It's only days later. Long tournament. I have had players who were not knocked out, but who were ineligible to play for 3 or 4 weeks. You know, and I mean, so I just want to say that I am stunned that, especially with TV money coming in, that there wasn't a team doctor who did not put the onus of making this decision on the owner of the team or on the team representatives, but that as much as I love this episode, it shouldn't have. Shoresy should not have been on the ice. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we had a neighbor who had a concussion, and he couldn't go to work, and it wasn't even hockey. It was at home. He couldn't go to work for 6 months. He was like in dark rooms anyway. So.
That's the cartoonish aspect.
Sure.
Right?
That's where you suspend disbelief
But they could have just played with the time. Like, we've seen the portal, it's there. Like, they could have played with the time and made it, you know, weeks later.
You bring up another point that I want, or you remind me of another point I wanted to bring up though. The vote was for Shoresy to not play.
Correct.
When did that change? Was it because Nat said it's his last game?
Yes.
Oh, sure, then we'll let him play.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
That wasn't made clear, right?
It was
like,
not made clear.
like the last
I was
words-
actually quite confused
Yeah,
that
the
he was
last
on
words
there.
were Gord saying, the vote is that Shoresy doesn't play. And this is, so that was kind of.
No, you make an assumption there.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
I get,
they
yeah,
felt
exactly.
pity for him and they,
Yeah,
let him play. But what they should have done is taken the keys away. Because if this was a drinking driving scenario, you don't let him get in the car.
Yeah.
But this is the same, like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Let him get on the ice is the same thing as let him get in a car, except, in a car he can kill other people as well.
Yeah.
But I just think that, it's probably even more dangerous to let him on the ice because in the car he might get into an accident. On the ice, he's probably, if he gets hit in the head, he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a general rule, I like the storyline, but I mean, there could have been any given injury. I mean, like during the Laura Moore interview, I don't know hockey at all, and so Charo being having his mouth sewn shut or whatever the hell it was, right, wired shut. But there was also somebody who played on a broken leg.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like there are ways to make the basic plot less questionable, I guess is my whole point.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sure.
So,
all right, we're almost at 2 hours already, and we still haven't done ratings and stuff. So let's move on to ratings real quick. Victor, what do you give this episode?
This episode, though it has a couple of ugly corners, is pretty easy fresh for me.
Okay. Tanya, what do you give this episode?
Listening to everyone, Tobias, you made some solid points. I was not quite sure. There was parts that I liked and parts that I didn't like. And I was kind of sitting on the teeter-totter. But you've pushed me over the edge, and I'm going to give it a fresh.
All right, fresh.
Who pushed you over the edge?
I was going to say, I thought that was going the other way.
Because I would have thought that Tobias would have pushed you over the other edge.
That's what I was thinking.
No.
Like Mama Bear came out and she's like, yeah, that's not safe.
Yeah, no, and I agree with all the points, and it isn't safe, but at the same time,
If Mama Bear was going to come out, it would have been for Jory Jordan's porn comments, not for.
yeah.
She did.
There were, yeah.
Earlier.
All right.
Anyway.
I mean, I agree with Matt. I don't agree with Matt that this is the best season finale. I still hold season 1 finale in higher regard. I still love the song and everything about it. But this one here, I really enjoy what they've done here, setting up the 3 potential storylines, and they're going to have us talking about it over the next 6, like you said, 6 to 10 months. So I thought it was really good. I thought the second half was strong. The first half was meh. But the second half made up for it. So yeah, this is definitely a fresh in my books. Matt?
Yeah, wildly easy fresh. Loved it. I want to give one quick love to the scene at the end there, the Last Supper scene that they all had there. God, did that make me happy. As they're panning along, and there's nothing but huge smiles on that table from all the players. And that feast, man. Oh,
Yeah, it looked great. It looked delicious.
some of it looked real. I mean, it might have been real because the lobster the one guy was cracking was juicing. I don't know. But my God, I want to be at that table.
But by the way, the other thing we didn't mention, I'm surprised, Tobias, you didn't mention this one. The song they played during the credits, the closing credits, it was actually a pretty good song. Like was
it a Dolo song? I didn't look it up, but
I didn't think it was. It didn't sound like Dolo, but it was a pretty good song. So I just want to call that out.
The song during the cold open is also good. That's what I'm saying. Like the collective grouping of songs may be the best. The best set of songs. In any episode, potentially including Letterkenny.
That's a pretty high bar. Okay, well, before we go on to Tobias, that is 4 straight freshes from
Who
us.
wants to set the tone, boys? Who's gonna fucking set it? Yeah! Whoa! Let's get on the go, boys! Yeah, no, but I'm saying
This team will never lose again.
And there's the unicorn. The tail end of that soundbite did remind me, though, that this is a season finale, and that one quick scene with Shoresy's family is in fact the only scene with Shoresy's family in this.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks when Dean's on for sure. Tobias, the unicorn's in the books. No pressure on you. So, what do you give this one?
No, I give this a fresh. I mean, the episode is excellent. As a standalone episode, I did just want to say what I had to say about the concussion stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I appreciate that insight, man.
Yeah, for sure. You're the only one who can talk from experience on this panel, so we appreciate that. All right, moving on to MVPs. Victor, who do you give the game stick to?
Well, I think Matt's going to like my game stick. I give the game stick to probably the best character during the feast, and that would be the butter fountain. So
you think that was butter? That's cheese, man.
No, that's butter fountain. That's that's a butter fountain. And it's at my wedding, we actually had a chocolate fountain.
Yes,
which is a normal thing.
Yeah, that's a normal thing.
I love them.
But for the lobsters, you need the butter, and I
don't know if I've ever seen a butter fountain, but okay,
it's cheese.
You don't dip a lobster into cheese,
but the bread you do.
No, not really.
Anyway, in front of the French guy.
It's a fountain with some substance. Anyway, all right.
I say it's butter, and it's a batter fountain, and that's why I'm giving my.
All right, I'm putting down butter fountain for you. So
ridiculous.
It's canon now. Tanya,
ridiculous.
Who do you give your MVP?
Ridiculous. Oh my goodness, there are some great moments. It's kind of hard because like that zoom in on Shoresy's face, and there was a lot going on in just that zoom in. I'm gonna say though, I'm gonna say Nat. Oh. I think Nat really did a great job keeping Shoresy and holding things together, and that scene where she comes over to him, and that was powerful.
Okay. All right. I can only think of like one runner up, and that would be Nat. Tobias, I agree with you. The scenes with Shoresy and Nat in her office are really good and show that deep relationship that they do seem to have, and so I really enjoyed that. And then the scene where he kneels with the trophy and she joins him is heartbreaking and such. So yes, I'll give her an honorable mention, but I think this one here is all Shoresy. I think just the way he did a lot of heavy lifting in this scene. And then that last speech that he does to his teammates, especially when he goes up to JJ, Frankie JJ, and that's probably the most empathetic we'll ever see Shoresy, was when he spoke to JJ in the locker room and said, I know you're going through shit. We're all going through shit. You need to pull it together. And like, we're all fighting through this. We need you to do the same. So I'm giving this one to Shoresy. Matt.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's Shoresy. I was thinking about it. There's some great moments. Nat's huge in this. A lot of mobs and good moments, but he carried this episode and had such highs. It has to be Shoresy.
Okay, Tobias.
So I'm going to do two honorable mentions because I find Victor and Chad to be inspirational.
Oh, God.
So the first honorable mention is Jay Henre's mustache.
I love that.
No,
that's fair. That's fair.
That is an homage, if you will, to Victor. And then Laura Moore's smile is perhaps the single most beautiful smile I have ever seen. No, I mean, holy shit. And like, I mean, in particular in this episode in the booth at Eddie's, man, like she is radiant. I mean, and so that's inspired by Chad. But I mean, Shoresy has to be in terms of characters, then he is clear with you.
Amazing. All right. Thank you. All right, guys, we got to move on real quickly to our next segment here, and it is
questionable call.
And we have a couple of questionable calls. Here's our first one from our buddy down under, Jez.
G'day, guys. This is Jez. Just Jez. Need to get this out of the way. Thank you so much, Jeff, for letting me be on your segment. Really appreciate it. Now, to the main bit. My questionable call will come out later. Firstly, want to say such an awesome job to the Takeover team. For the last 3 weeks, the deep dive into Shoresy was brilliant. Made me laugh, made me cry with laughing, but it made me think a lot, and I think that's what your job was. And Casey, props to you. Secondly, but I also think somewhat more importantly, the use of the soundboard in that last episode was brilliant. Anyway, one of the things I did take out of that last.
So let me just pause for a second. When I use a soundboard, it's over the top. But when Casey uses, it's brilliant. Come on. That's my questionable call. Anyway.
Last episode was a certain someone who, if you don't know who it is, you need to go on and listen to the episode, has only watched Letterkenny a few times through. Now, I'm at least up to my 5th watch of Letterkenny and probably my 4th watch of Shoresy. As I'm doing my chores here in the kitchen, I'm wondering which to binge next and was going to open it to the crew, but realized they might not be the best people to answer that question. So thought I would put it out to the ether and see what's better to binge, Letterkenny or Shoresy.
I've got bad news for you, Jazz, because if you think that I'm bad because I've only watched it through like once or twice, granted, when I do the notes for this show, I watch it over and over again. So in aggregate, I've probably watched every episode 4 or 5 times. But I got to tell you, my fellow panelists here, I don't think any one of them has watched. I can tell you, Victor's only watched it once through.
Most of them
considering panelists.
Well, my regular panelists. Yeah. No, Tobias, I know you're one of the ones that. Yeah. So anyway, and Tanya, I'm sure has only watched them through once, maybe twice with our son.
I was just gonna say I watched.
And Matt, what are you up to?
I will not disclose.
Exactly. the thing about rewatching, so Letterkenny, because it isn't like a that storyline or whatever, you can watch episodes whenever you feel like and watch any episode. It doesn't have to be in order, right? So if you feel like something funny, you can throw something on like that.
Yeah.
On like that. Shoresy, if you watch it, you kind of have to watch it all the way through, and it's more like a movie, and it's like 3 hours or no 2.5 hours maybe of whatever. And so that you would watch. So I've seen Shoresy over a few times.
Yeah, I've watched Shoresy a few times.
Yeah. What about you, Victor? If you needed to binge something you've already seen,
I usually watch each episode twice. Before the show, because I watch it like at the beginning of the week, and then I watch it again before the show. So I've watched every Shoresy episode at least twice.
Okay,
and some maybe 3 times.
But Letterkenny episodes.
Letterkenny, even Letterkenny, like most of the episodes I've watched twice, just because of that cadence.
Oh, okay.
But I don't go back to watching it.
Right.
I may not watch it very much or as often as others, but I do definitely use it in my day-to-day. Like
sure. Yeah.
My friend's son had an accident rock climbing and hurt his testicles. Had to go to the hospital actually. And so I get this message from my friend saying this is what's going on and there's an issue and he's needing to get an ultrasound in his testes. And so I sent her the clip of them sitting on the back fence and she played, not knowing what it was, she played it in the ER and she didn't have her earbuds and her poor son, like 15-year-old, sitting beside her going, what the fuck are you doing, mom? And them saying your vast deference. And yeah, so I do try to use it as much as possible in my life.
I feel like Letterkenny is kind of like the hallmark of TV shows. There's an episode for every occasion. Anyway, Tobias, dare I ask you how many times through you've seen all of Letterkenny?
I'm guessing I'm on about 27.5.
Oh my
wow!
I just finished season 6 again last night.
Oh man,
27 was Ron Hextall's number.
No, but here's the thing. I remember Jeff and I were having an exchange months ago, and he was on something like 30 at the time, and I was like jealous because I'm behind. Right.
And that's why both you and Jeff are two of our trivia masters. And
there might be some
correlation,
cause and effect here. Yeah.
Oh,
amazing. All right. And we have one last questionable call. And well, speak of the devil.
Hey guys, it's your buddy Jeff from Maine. Al, can I have my own segment? I feel like we've been taking a lot of time off lately. We could call it Jeffcation. Just a thought.
That's weak.
Great job, Casey, the takeover team, and everyone else who filled in over the last few weeks for a Letterkenny Shoresy deep dive. I think the only way we could have learned any more about the man is if we attended his colonoscopy. Going back a few weeks to the Soo Hunt episode, I'm calling a 2-minute minor on Victor for roughing for saying Silo is better than Fallout. Silo is like a dystopian Truman show filled with overused tropes. Fallout was a glorious adaptation of an amazing video game. I think you'd enjoy it more if you played it. I saved a 5-minute holding major for Josh, though, for talking all that great barbecue and not sharing any. It's just not fair. What to say about episode 5, the Soo Hunt? If this was a play in hockey, it would have been a dinger off the crossbars. The episode was essentially broken into 3 parts. Part 1 was the Shoresy injury. Jared definitely got across what he was going for, but the execution was suspect in my opinion. I think it was a case of it made sense in his head, but the translation from there to the editing room to the screen wasn't smooth. I couldn't tell if we missed a step or took one step too many. This part was a C. Part 2 was the Frankie talk show thing, which just felt like another excuse to haul out some hot women, but it didn't add anything to the story. This part was an F. What saved the episode, in my opinion, was the third part. This episode truly didn't begin until the 12:08 mark. Shoresy's classic funny chirps with Corey and Liam, followed by his truly heartfelt bargaining scene with Nat at the townhouse, were fantastic. Then there's the continued barnyard chirps on Zieg and his back and forth with Jory, followed by a scene where Anik mirrors Shoresy's bargaining with Nat. Combine this with the terrible interview he does later with Anik, and that hints at setting up Shoresy Phase 2, which I'm going to call it right now, is the Roy Kent effect. Then they set the tone with a flashback of Shoresy reminiscing on his hockey family, then show him being consoled by his actual family, before we get the payoff where we see the Bulldogs down 3-0 to the Sioux, and with the upbeat music playing, Nat calls in the cavalry. This part was an A+. The bottom line for me was that Part 3 saved this from the compost bin, and taking out Part 2 might have been enough to sneak it into the fresh basket. Oh, gotta run. I've got a ketchup bottle situation here.
Oh my God.
Peace and love, y'all.
Oh, man. I applaud Jeff's commitment to that last bit there. That's awesome.
Fuck.
Well done,
Give
Jeff.
your balls a tug, bud.
Anyway, that's great. That's all I have. With news, I already talked about Fan Expo off the top, but again, I'll remind anyone who's in the Toronto area, I'll be at the Canadian Podcast Awards booth tomorrow, which is Friday, August 23rd. And then the 4 of us will be there on Saturday, the 24th. So if you're going to be at Fan Expo, look for us. We'll be wearing the produce stand merch and, hoping to get pictures and or autographs, or at least some FaceTime with some of the actors. So all we have left is final thoughts. Victor.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little while to get here, but nice to finally be back with you guys. And Tobias, you're always kind of, bringing things up a level with your scholarly analytics and whatnot. And we are here for it for sure. So thanks for kind of showing up, and you're a blast, and can't wait till we see each other in person at some point in the future.
Thanks, Victor.
10.
Tobias, it was absolutely wonderful seeing you. I love seeing your face and hearing you laugh. You're an absolute joy. Thank you to the Takeover team for letting us go on vacation and taking over. This show is just like Shoresy, for the community, by the community, and
good.
Well done.
Well
done.
Is by the community for sure. So thank you to everyone that helped, and I can't wait to listen. Now that I've watched the episode, I'm gonna dive right in and listen to all the episodes.
All right. Thanks, Takeover team. You guys did a great job last 3 weeks. I'm not expecting you to do next week. We can take a week off, I think. We don't need to jump to action, but I am away next week in Winnipeg. And when we get back though, we'll have our buddy Dean on, which we haven't heard from in a while. So it'll be good to have him on. We'll wrap up this season. I think we're going to have lots to say along with Awesome. Tobias, amazing job as usual. Welcome back. And it's good to hear you're back at you're teaching again and stuff after the year sabbatical you took. So I'm glad you're doing that again. And also congratulations, because you didn't talk about it, but you got your what is it? Your certification or your belt, or like you can now kill people like 7 different ways. Like something
only
like
7 now.
Oh,
anyway, no. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you did a great job tonight, bud. This is a lot of fun to do, and a great episode to end it on. Matt.
Yeah, Tobias, always great seeing you, bud. You killed it tonight. I genuinely appreciate your takes on the concussion protocol stuff at the end there. I know the show is all in fun, but I think it was a great call out. And I know that one's close to you. So appreciate you drawing attention to that. But this is so much fun, guys. I mean, it's been a few weeks. I missed all y'all. And now we kind of shift into our off season.
We'll have in 2 weeks. We'll have our season 3 recap with Dean, and then an egg haul, and then we start vamping.
Oh, and then we
get creative.
Yeah.
And then we have to talk about Fan Expo. Like at what point?
Oh yeah. We'll have to
that's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah. So,
but anyways, my point is we're at the end of a season, and it's sad because these are so fun. But we will wait and do what we can and drag this on and have as much fun as we can until the inevitable release of new episodes. And I'm definitely excited for Fan Expo. I've never been to any Fan Expo, Comic-Con, something or other. And I feel like I'm going to end up spending more money than I'm probably allowed to at random shit. But I'm excited.
You're going to spend all your money at the Retro Kid booth.
No, I've already been told I'm not allowed to. She's like, you can maybe buy one thing, but you have to call and run it by me first.
Yeah, you haven't seen the Retro Kid booth yet.
Just leave your cards at home and take cash.
Yeah.
And then you're good.
No one takes cash anywhere.
Treat it like a trip to the casino. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's not going to happen.
Tobias.
Great show, guys.
Tobias.
Thank you all for having me. This is actually my first episode recap.
Is it?
Ooh,
That's not true. Really?
It is true. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
but
so this
we've
was
been
like
hanging out with you so often.
I know, right?
I know it. I mean, I just wormed my way
I called
in.
Tabernacle on that.
Well, he's kicked out the jams, I know, and he's done a few character studies. But yeah, okay. I mean, I believe you. Like you would know.
No, I mean, I've Michelle and I have been on for my trip to Sudbury. I mean, I've been here before.
Yeah.
This is my first episode recap.
Amazing.
So, anyway, so this was a lot of fun, and Victor, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person again at some point too, and I'm looking forward to what the off season brings. I have some ideas, and I mean, K-Trev is on tour, for example. I mean, it's not exactly Letterkenny Live or something like that, but I know Jeff has tickets, for example.
Oh, we have our tickets, so yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Anyway, so thank you all, and I think we're going to squeeze in just under 2:15. So,
oh man, all right.
Holy fuck!
I'm going to play us off here with this amazing song that I had to rip from the episode because it can't be found anywhere online. So here we go, "Serene Demon" by Art Deco. That's all we have for this episode. Next week, I'm in Winnipeg, so we're taking another week off. Sorry, but the week after that, we'll have our Shoresy 3 recap with our friend Dean and from How Are You Now podcast and Awesome. If you'd like to support the podcast, become a patron or tell a friend. Also follow us on most social media outlets at ProtoSamPod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to the after party. On behalf of Tobias, Tanya, Matt, Victor, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.